Yeah. Better days, I pray for better days. Working hard cause I want extra pay. Talk to them seeds, but you must demonstrate. Cause it's your ways that they gon' imitate. Non-violent. Sometimes I wish I would've went to college. Frown proudly. Cause where I'm from, they hate you when you smiling. Your faith should be your gun. You can't leave home without it. The children being grown, cause all the parents acting childish. You show them your reality, I bet they doubt it. You tell them all about your dreams, that's when they out it. Your own blood. Ain't no family no more. They do you badly for show. You try to patch up your soul, Lord knows you on a mission to show him you so submissive. The prayer said in silence, you know the devil can hear him, pay attention. Know the war's within, how much time do you spend? Try to balance your zen, then again, losses is lessons. You tell me you trying to win, we know about saving money. You tell me you trying to spend that blood on it. Sweat, tears, you put that love on it. Your best years was just a dumb moment. You tired of going hungry, can't deal with fake making your life lonely. Your lack of faith that left your soul bony. But you gon' work and you gon' strive, do what it takes to survive. What is truth, what is a lie? You know that war's inside. Some get draped into the fake, they don't know what to decide. Wrong choice, meet your demise, keep that between you and I. You realize, some people you gon' let go, you visualize. The things you need to feed your soul is on the rise. They not gon' wanna let you go, but it's alright. It's cool to bury what's gon' grow. Went from wrong to the right and to the dark to the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. Gotta hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. Wrong to the right and to the dark from the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. You just hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah, I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me.
Yeah. Don't be stressing on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. Just keep going and keep your faith, so you can win this race. This race called life, yeah, yeah. This race called life. This race called life, yeah, yeah. Race called life. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm grinding 'cause I know that I'm gon' get it. I just gotta have vision, keep faith and be humble. Have some patience with it. I've been A1 since day one, been always on my job. I never been a fake, never had to steal and rob. Cause I do good business, I'm too good with it. And even though I'm on this road, I'm still daddy to my children. You know I do good with them, and don't like being missing. But I hate when my bills are thicker and my pockets get thinner. But I can't stress up on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. I keep going and keep my faith and my pace, so I can win this race called life.
Yes, yes, y'all, we are in here.
Life. I'm just trying to win this race called life. This race called life. This race called life, yeah. Race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life, yeah, yeah, yeah. I keep on running in this race called life, yeah,
Hope everybody's having a beautiful Saturday out there. And you know my motto: happiness is a choice. Don't let a bad couple minutes turn into a bad 24 hours. Let's go. How you feeling today, DJ Genesis?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great.
How's your day going?
It's been very laid back and relaxing and wonderful.
It's as it should be, as it should be.
Trying to
Work
stay,
hard, relax hard. You
trying
know,
to stay
that's
calm and relaxed, you know.
definitely. Let me get this off the screen right here so they can see what we got going on today. Today we have Dethroned Queen, Feminism Foreign to Africa and Black Women. This was a presentation that I did like a few years back. I thought I was doing something powerful at the time. So we're going to do a watch video with the Queen, DJ Genesis. And, she's going to be able to pat me on the back when I was right and check me when I was wrong today. And hopefully I learned something from the Queen. Appreciate you coming up here tonight. Let me give you a round of applause for stepping on the stage. And any shout outs for you? Go ahead.
I want to thank the my alchemizing energy audience that is joining from my side of the woods. DJ Genesis Detroit, and shouts out to my mods, Owaspie College University. I'm sure Seiku's going to come in pretty soon as well. So shouts out to my mods.
That's dope. Shout out Seiku. I'm familiar with him. Love his work. He has a channel it's like an African channel that he comes up on my page. And
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the wrong mod. Celia is the one.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Seiku. I don't know. He was just on House of Consciousness. I wonder what I maybe mentioned his name. But no, Celia is my mod, and Owaspie College is my other mod. So shout out to them.
Okay, shout out to them. Excited to meet them today. That's what's up. Let me pull up this video here. That's got, some people happy, some people upset. More people happy than upset, though. The right people happy, I should say. And what made you message me about this topic again? We were talking about
the welfare situation where I was basically wanted to do a show about the ongoing lie that the women kicked the men out of the house back in the 70s. That we were the reason why the Black family was divided. The Black woman is the reason why.
And whenever that comes up or something like that, you can chime in on that. Make sure you stop me, and we'll go ahead and pull those sources up outside of the video to show these people that as well, because that's a deep topic, and
we'll probably have to do that on another day, because I actually had scheduled that one a while back, and we were supposed to do that one. It was about but right now we're talking about this is feminism as in the Black woman. So
perfect. I'll show up for that for you. I got you. And let me share my screen so we can play this. Wow, this is when I first started podcasting. This was like my third show.
Okay.
Let me share this. Same intro song. Can you see the screen?
No.
How do I get back to there? Okay, I'm going to have to make it small first and then make it back big. Share screen, Feminism Foreign to Africa. Here we go.
You got to make it full screen.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Peace. Peace and blessings to the family. I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. I was kicking it with my daughter. Her mother taking care of some things, doing some real king shit, Hope everybody had a good Sunday. Hope everybody got some good rest over the weekend. A lot of y'all gonna be heading back to work this week. Yeah, you already see. I had to retitle this one Dethrone Queen. Feminism Foreign to Africa and Black Women. Um, I got a whole presentation for y'all today. This is gonna be more a lecture. This isn't like a bunch of opinion. I'm not going back and forth about who's right and who's wrong. I'm just gonna show you guys that these concepts are foreign to Black women and they've adopted them in defense of a lot of things. And we're gonna go through how the CIA and infiltrated the movement and brought it to y'all. That's how we got the Black feminism of the day. We're gonna go to how it was founded. We're also gonna talk about the misogyny and anti-womanism in the Bible, and how it ties into that. And as soon as you accept that, you accept everything that comes with it. And the last time, then at the end, I'm gonna show y'all the last time that y'all was on the throne. You feel me? This was about to be a real deep one. So go ahead, get your popcorn out, get your notepads out. You might want to take some notes on this one. It's definitely gonna be deep. I'm coming with receipts, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little upset right now because when I prep for one of these, I do my fact checking, I make sure I got my sources right, and the more research I did, the more I see how this whole movement is not something that we came up with. I see how this whole movement was meant to create separation and division in the community. And that's not something that I can just stand for. That's why we're doing this episode today, And if you don't care about stuff like this, go ahead, check out. This ain't the podcast for you. Go ahead, tap out right now. Don't be in the comments asking, why is we even talking about this? Anything goofy, If you rather listen to hip hop music and you worry more about Will Smith, go talk about that on another page. This is not the podcast for you. You feel me? And that's okay. This not gonna be for everybody. Don't care about this stuff. But I'm gonna lead with this. This was down further in the presentation, but I decided that I'm gonna lead with this one right here. African American family structure. You could type this in on Wikipedia, and this is actually a thing. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say about it. The family structure of African Americans has long been a matter of national public policy interest. I bet you guys didn't know that, did you? In 1965, report by Daniel Patrick Mahonian, known as the Mahonian Report, examined the link between Black poverty and family structure. It hypothesized that the destruction of the Black nuclear family structure would hinder further progress toward economic and political equality. Now, Daniel Patrick Mahonian he's a Caucasian man. He worked for President Nixon and a few other presidents. He's a sociologist. We're gonna get more into him later, but he wrote this book about how the destruction of the Black family structure would hinder further progress toward economic and political equality. Now, this is going to tie in later in the presentation when I show you how the CIA brought Black feminism to the height of where it is today. Now, you see this chart down here? Now, you see these little squiggly lines? It might be hard to read. You might not know what it's saying. Let me break this down for you. The out-of-wedlock birth rates by race in the United States from 1940 to 2014. Okay, so this is the rates right here from 1940 and all the way over here it goes to 2014. Now, we've got the Asian community all the way down here. This is babies out of wedlock, having babies and you're not married. Right here, we have African-American community. We're leading the race right here. And this isn't a race that I'm proud to be number one in as a community. And I'm not gonna lie, I helped to this. Me and the mother of my child aren't married, but so again, I guess I'm a statistic too. But we still gonna talk about this. We definitely still gonna talk about it, and how we can move better moving forward. Now, right here, it says the rate for African Americans is the purple line, which you see right here. Data from the National Vital Statistics System reports published by the CDC, National Center for Health and Statistics, note prior to 1969, African American illegitimacy was included along with other minority groups as non-white. That's just pretty much saying before that they didn't chart this. But right here, you can see we're kicking the Asians' butt by about 50%. Like Latinos, y'all up there. And what is this? The gray line, Native Americans. Okay. I guess that's people that may be claiming indigenous. And I'm going to show you why that number is the way it is today. We're going to start right here. How white feminism threw its Black counterpart under the bus. I just like this picture right here. All these queens right here. Now they got them organized under a false pretense. And they didn't use it to create separation and division in the community today. And I'm going to show you how we're going to fix this. These two. Oh, look at these evil looking. You know what? I'm not even going to cuss. Elizabeth Cotton Standy, Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony's name rings more bells than Elizabeth Stanton as far as history. A lot of people don't know these people. I brought these faces up here. I want you to remember these faces. She looked evil. Look at her. Now I'm about to go into the history of the women's suffrage movement. This is femininity at its core. This is the foundation of femininity. And I want you to realize that these two women right here were racist. And I'm going to show you in their own words that they didn't care about black women or black men. They hated black men, and they definitely didn't care about black women. Just like this is, they threw y'all under the bus the second they could to get what they needed. They used y'all to go ahead and pump their numbers up, make them look like they was deeper than they was. Then they made a deal with the devil and kicked y'all to the curb. And then y'all had to still fight for the women's right to vote for at least another 50 years. We're about to get into that right here. Historians are not inclined to hero worship. I like that right there. That means they're not about to lie for these hoes. That's what that means. Historians are not inclined to hero worship, including Eliza Barkley Brown, Lori Ginsburg, Rosalind Toryburg Penn. Shout out them right there for going ahead and doing this. Now, they have recently provided unsparing portrait to the once neglected period. Stripped of her halo, Stanton, that was the big chick on the left. The campaign's principal philosopher is exposed as a classic liberal racist who embraced fairness in the abstract while publicly enunciating bigoted views of African-American men. You're going to see she was calling us Sambo. She was saying we rapists and can't control our urges, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it was real bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that black women joined the white power structure to go ahead and tear their men down. But, you know, we don't put no blame on them. You know, everything looked as sweet at the time. They made it look real sweet for y'all. And I'm just going to show y'all that everything, you know, it ain't what it is. You know, sometimes sugar tastes like shit. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Yeah, African-American men who seem categorized as Sambos and incipient racists in the period just after the war. The suffrage struggle itself took on a similar flavor, acquiescing to white supremacy. Acquiescing means that's like just letting shit go. So it's like if she's standing there and somebody say some racist shit, she ain't gonna say nothing to defend it. That's what acquiescence means. It means like failure to reply. So, you know, she was letting all the white supremacy stuff slide. She was selling out the interest of African-American women when it became politically expedient to do so. I'm gonna show you here in the 19th Amendment how they kicked y'all to the curb and didn't add y'all onto that. After they used y'all for all the marches, they had y'all sewing costumes, making signs, and then went ahead and did everything without y'all, which is reminiscent of another movement as of recent. We're gonna tie into that too. Now, this betrayal of trust opened a rift between black and white feminists that persists till this day. Now, up here, you see this source is from the New York Times. This is what we're reading out of. Elizabeth Cotton Stanton, man. Remember that name. All the feminists out there. This is history. See, a lot of y'all are joining these movements, and y'all don't even know the foundation or the inception in which they arrived and how you got to them today. You know what I'm saying? History matters. Now, this toxic legacy looms especially large as cities including New York prepared monuments of educational programs to celebrate the centennial of the 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920. That's when white women got the right to vote, again, abandoning black women feminists who marched beside them the whole time. You know, this is crazy. And I know a lot of black feminists, you know, and they be man bashing and, you know, and I understand everybody ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? But that's not going to be that's not the solution. That's not going to help us come up together as a community. Because in Africa, we didn't separate ourselves into gender and then start banging on each other about who's, you know what I'm saying? In Africa, we had a matriarchal society. We've adopted the patriarch society with the Bible. When you get the Bible, that's when you get all of the women being submissive to men. It's in the doctrine. I'm going to show you. And that's when society and everything changed around. See, when you accepted Christianity and all the misogyny that came with it, you had to become feminist to create a balance. That was the only way you was going to do that. If not, you was just, y'all was going to get ran over. Because this was never your fight. This was always the white woman's fight with her man. You see what I'm saying? Because black men was never oppressing black women. Black men was never oppressing black women. White women was the ones who couldn't go to work, who was forced to be housewives, who couldn't go out and get jobs. Oh, trust me, they had your black working. You was working if you was a female. Yeah. That was the white woman who was forced to stay in the house, who couldn't go to church on her menstrual cycle. That wasn't black women. This was always
So I have a question.
Her man. Get up from under her man. You want me to pause it?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yep.
So when you're talking about feminism and you're saying that these ladies are the beginning of the feminist movement, what year did this lady come out?
Again, we're just doing a watch video. That's why I didn't want to represent the information because I haven't restudied it. So I couldn't even give you that answer exactly. I know 1920s was the year that the amendment was ratified. The movement obviously preceded that, but by how many years, I couldn't give you the specific number.
Okay. So, and are we only focusing on American feminism? Or are we also talking about feminism across the board, Africa as well as America?
That is a good question. I think no, we definitely talk about both because at the end of this, I go to Africa and show what's going on over there. I show the past. I show the queens, what they were fighting against, the queen rulers. I had a bunch of them with the sources.
Because I just want to be sure that we're not saying that there was no African feminism, because there was feminism because of a lot of those African countries were Muslim.
Mhm.
And so you have Muslim, they had their own version of feminism, but it was not the same as American feminism. But sometimes, even just like going against feminine mutilation, people would write poems. They probably didn't have the same movement in America, but just writing about how they feel, could sometimes be taboo,
and that's why I'm happy you're here for your insight, because I did not even think about that. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And at the time when I was saying this, I was saying like feminism. I understand what your question is now better that you said that. My whole premise, I guess, that I didn't lay out, or maybe I did and it didn't come across, is that feminism is a reaction to the oppression that women were under. It's a cause and effect, or every action has a reaction type of thing. The American feminism. And even in Africa, because I'm saying, well, specifically here, this is when I was going hard on religion at this time, which I really don't per se do right now. But I show that, these are in the text and in the doctrine. All of this misogyny, these came with these doctrines at this time, and this is what the queen rulers were fighting against. They're like, you're not coming in here with this book that talks about raping women and we must be submissive to the man. You know who you're talking to? We're Ashanti warriors.
Right. So there were several religions that were like that.
Yes.
Especially with the Muslim nations. Again, once I definitely want to bring that up, is because a lot of those areas are the ones that had those practices where you're a female genital, FGM and stuff like that. So, so you have and you had certain early marriages and all this other stuff. People getting married at a really early age, and right when they start their cycle, and all kind of different practices that were going on. So
I have a presentation on that, but I'm reluctant to bring it out right now. I know it's going to ruffle some feathers, and I'm just doing a lot right now.
I just don't want to romanticize Africa. I don't want to romanticize African American relationships in the past, because right now there's this like fake narrative that we just had these perfect relationships back in the day, and that now the woman is just tainted and feminist and just bad and this, that, the other, And the thing is that the relationships, just because grandpa had his other family across town that he was raising, and grandma didn't say nothing, doesn't mean that they had the most healthiest relationship. There wouldn't be a song called "Papa Was a Rolling Stone." Okay, so.
Sorry, that was loud. Drop a bomb for that though. Let me turn
right. That song definitely did come out in the past when we were around the time when they were talking about that American women's relationships. We were married and this, that, the other, right? But even the kids knew that their daddy wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? But they said Papa was a Rolling Stone. They made a song about it, like the Here It Go. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. And I knew there was turmoil, and I mean not turmoil. I don't think that's the correct word to use. I knew that there we had our personal issues, in the family. We all saw stuff like that, but at least we had family.
Mm.
I don't know. And maybe that's just me as a man, but I definitely understand your perspective, and you're absolutely right about that. We definitely had our issues. I'm not painting it. I am probably painting it like it's the perfect picture, and thank you for the context.
But yeah, I mean, we could hear the rest about those white people and stuff like that and see what they did. But
And
I just don't.
keep updating me with that context. Again, this was a while ago, and views change, positions change. I'm interested to hear what I said this day because I'm so passionate right now when I'm talking. Like this is making me excited right now.
Right. Yeah.
We get lit.
Go ahead. Let's hear the rest of it.
All right, let's go. If we wasn't doing that, like, you see what I'm saying? Let's keep it moving. It became clear after the Civil War that black and white women had different views of why the right to vote was essential. White women were seeking the vote as a symbol of parity with their husbands and brothers. Black women, most of whom lived in the South, were seeking the ballot for themselves and their men as a means of empowering black communities besieged by the reign of racial terror that erupted after emancipation. So in its inception, a lot of these women knew back then, they knew, hey, we are going to join this movement, but we're not going to bash our men. The women bashing didn't come into the 60s and 70s, and I'm going to show you that too. It was mostly the white women of the 1900s doing the women bashing. But like I say, this was never our struggle. Black women were trying to co-opt their struggle to get more rights for us so that way we can vote. You know what I'm saying? They seen the lane and tried to hop in it. But y'all have to recognize that,
Okay, so
that's how it started. You know what I'm
what do you
saying? It
think?
wasn't us separating ourselves in the gender banging on each other.
What, what do you think is the reason why we were banging on each other in the 60s and 70s? What do you think were the primary catalysts that caused us to bang on each other during that time frame? Do you think it was white feminists, female feminists, and their ideals, or do you think that the family was beginning to be dismantled and people had complaints?
I think it's an amalgamation of all of the things that you just said. I think that to exclude one would be me being naive. Everything has to be like the perfect storm for things to happen. Even us being here right now. So, um, I don't know. It's just the way it happened. We're looking back, trying to study and figure it out. But definitely, I think it's both. I wouldn't put the blame solely on one. I can't put the blame solely on them. I can't. I definitely want to stop putting the blame solely on black women. I think that needs to stop.
How many of the black women do you think were really listening to white scholars and the white women's march? Like in the
Well,
hood?
I get it. I get into all of that. I get into how the propaganda came out from the CIA. I bring up, I show it. I show the news magazine covers and how they were marketing it. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead. I probably right after the education on the beginning of how we got into the feminist movement in America. That's when I go right into that.
Okay, let's go.
Because that's not how we're going to come up as a people. That's not how we're going to fix that number that I showed you in the beginning. When I showed you the African American birth rates out of wedlock, and we're leading the race with 75 to 80% of our children being born to single mothers. That number is way too high. That number is way too high. And we're responsible for that. Responsibility starts with us. Responsibility starts with knowledge. Because if you don't know what's going on, how can you even address it? A lot of people be like, why are you doing videos like this? Well, if we don't clearly explain the problem, how do you clearly come up with a solution that meets those needs? You see what I'm saying? We have to do videos like this first before we can come back and do the video on solutions and have the round table talk on how we fix this matter. You see what I'm saying? Y'all want to move too fast and y'all don't even got all y'all ducks in a row. Let's keep it moving. The tension escalated in the run-up of the 15th Amendment, a provision that ostensibly, hey, don't judge me, a lot of y'all barely made it out of high school, barred the states from denying Negro men the right to vote. Reasonable people could, of course, disagree of the merits of who should be first given the right to vote, women or black men. See, the whole thing with them was, y'all not about to give black men the right to vote before white women. Hell no. That was the foundation of the women's suffrage movement and the foundation of feminism today. Without this, you don't have that. For every action, there's a reaction. You have to understand how these things tie together. What I'm doing is connecting dots. And I'm about to show black women how they fell off the throne by accepting this bullshit. You feel me? I'm not here to sugarcoat shit today. I'm not here to spit opinions. We's going straight to the source. You feel me? Let's keep it moving. The most blatant of accommodation came in 1913 when organizers of a huge suffrage parade in Washington demanded that black participants march in an all-black assembly at the back of the parade. So here we are trying to protest separation and women's suffrage, and we still have division amongst the ranks. Still have division amongst the race. We still can't stop oppressing one another in one shape or form. These white women are trying to come up out of male oppression while still oppressing their female counterparts. How does that work? Sounds absurd, doesn't it? It is. And again, I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. You feel me? And there's nothing to debate here. This is a presentation. This is not you know, how do you feel? What's your opinion on? Like, I'm going straight. I'm just showing you what's going on and the foundation of these movements that y'all have adopted. And wait till we get to how the CIA brought black feminism to the rise that it is today. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're really going to be upset if you're a feminist and you don't know about this. If you don't know that the CIA funded and brought black feminism to the height that it is today, you a damn fool, and I'm on your head today. Here we go. Historians are rightly warning groups involved in suffrage commemorations not to overstate the significance of the 19th Amendment. Because the 19th Amendment didn't give black women the right to vote. It only gave white women the right to vote. Y'all had to wait another 50 years. Black women had to wait another 50 years. Then they kicked y'all to the curb and didn't even help y'all get y'all right to vote. After the 19th Amendment got passed and ratified, it was like, oh, we good. We're done here. Thank you, sisters. Thanks for the help. You know? And that's what they mean when they say acquiescing to white supremacy. White supremacy is in the foundation of all of this stuff that y'all is following, man. From the holidays to the movements. If I'm going to do an episode of how Black Lives Matter was a white supremacist movement. And y'all followed it. I'm going to get into that. It sounds crazy, don't it? Wait till I go ahead and bring up the sources, just like I bring up these sources. This is stuff you can't argue with. And then I'm going to show you Elizabeth Stanton on words, how she didn't care about black women and black men. Let's keep it moving. The 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibits the United States and its states from denying the right to vote to citizens of the United States on the basis of sex. In effect, recognizing the right of women to vote. Not black women, though. Black people still can vote. The amendment was the culmination of decades-long movement for the women's suffrage of the United States at both the state and national levels, and was part of the worldwide movement towards women's suffrage and part of the wider women's rights movement. Hold on, let me go ahead and read ahead for a second. Let me take my time. Okay, it was passed by the Senate, etc. 36 states met the requisite to secure the adoption of this. I just wanted to see if they were going to say anything about how it left black women out. Okay, pro-suffrage. Here we got Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Stanton. These two hoes.
So what,
yeah. No, I just want you to see.
So what is this significant to the black woman in the black family? What is their significance? What is their significance? These two women.
These two women's significance to the black man and black woman
in the black family. What is their role?
I don't think they had a role in the. I'm confused by your question. I don't know if I need you to rephrase it, or can you
like what is the significance of bringing up their background, and how was what they did affect black people?
Let me write that question down if it's not covered, because I'm pretty sure I covered that because I'm going over really, I'm giving the education of the feminist, well, how the feminist movement started, and I think I tie it in at the end because I go back into Mahoney and show his picture for everybody in his book, and show how it attaches to the family structure.
Okay, because if they're having a movement about their situation, somehow we decided as a black community that their movement somehow made black women begin to also have a problem with the black man because of the feminist movement, the right to vote or whatever that the white woman was trying to get, that we were trying to also latch on to that movement. And I don't really think that that was what was going on.
Say that last part one more time. You said that they were trying to latch. You were trying to latch onto their movement, the black women. I mean,
I think that black men, because nowadays people are trying to blame the feminist movement for the family structure, the black family structure being destroyed and stuff. They blame black feminism and the fact that we began to wrap ourselves into the white feminist movement, and we were starting to ask for rights just like the white women was, and started to, fight in the same situations. And we didn't have the same issues, family wise, that the white woman had. So I'm trying to find out, I mean, are we bringing
no,
up
that's not my claim. My claim isn't that. My claim is that we were co-opting their struggle to bring power to the whole family, not so that way they could be separate. Or so I don't ever go around slandering black women like that. On that point, I think that's backwards. I don't think
Okay.
that's what happened. I'm saying
So you don't think
here
that
it looked. I'm saying here it looked.
feminist movement has affected the black women at all?
That's the black
Do you
feminist
believe that the
movement
current
affected
black
black women?
feminists or do you think that our community always put the black woman on a certain pedestal?
Yeah, of course the black woman's been on a certain pedestal. Do you mean in a negative way or a positive
In a
way?
positive way.
Yeah. Now ask that question again to me so that way I can make sure I'm answering you.
I think that based on our society, I don't think that we had the same where the black woman was like a second class citizen, like a slave type of a thing, as much as in the white community.
Yeah, that's what I said when I went on the little rant where I'm like, trust me, they had you working. Yo, black women, oh, you was somewhere cooking, cleaning for some money. You was somebody's maid. I may be
We
being a
had
little
jobs, right?
extra,
We had
but
jobs. We were
yeah,
not
you
like,
guys had jobs.
we
It was
weren't
I
stuck in
say,
the house. We weren't not allowed to go outside and only just cook clean in our house and
mhm.
be like Leave It to Beaver. You know what I'm saying? We
And
had
that's
to
what I
actually
was
go get on the
saying.
bus and go clean up the white people's house.
Yep, and I was saying that it was the white woman's struggle with her man that really created the feminist movement because she couldn't go to work.
So
She had to stay in the
how
house.
is it now that
Mm.
when you hear a lot of these red pill arguments that they turn around and say that the feminist movement is what is messing up the black that the black women now are feminist movement, and we got it from the white feminist movement.
Now, see, I'm gonna take the time to let you educate me on black feminism because it
I,
sounds like
I
a
don't know.
term. It sounds like its own term that has a definition. I mean, you
Honey,
don't have to do it right now either,
I
though.
don't know, child. I have to look it up because
Yeah.
I don't really believe. I think that we naturally in Black American culture already had that kind of a culture where the woman was not looked at like a second class citizen. You know,
I think y'all always been the shit.
I think we've always had a kind of
So,
matriarchal kind of society. You know what I'm saying?
like, that's what I get. I definitely get to that here. I get at the end of this. It's like, let me show y'all when y'all feminism wasn't the thing. Y'all was already running shit. How do y'all need feminism when y'all are running it?
That's
Y'all
why I don't
see what I'm saying?
the red pill argument that we got into feminism. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Why
it's backwards.
we never needed feminism? Why would we need
Yeah.
to be feminist?
It was a trick, and that's what I get into. It was a trick. I think that black women were tricked into it.
And what
Because
would you consider a black feminist?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't like terms that just define people. People will ask you what you believe and then say, "Oh, and I think that's quite unfair. Like,
So AI Medpod says it's just feminism, not black feminism. He says Omarosa warned y'all. Good money yourself, okay?
it's scary out here. I don't know why they would target. I mean, I do know why. Actually, I'll break it down in here. I know why they're targeting.
Shouts out to A-Dub Wagyu.
Hey, let me share that
and
comment.
some people, but yeah.
My apologies. The comments are flowing, and I'm not
There's
showing.
a whole thing with the red pill that like makes it out to be like this so-called feminist movement that is kicking the black man out of the house.
No. I think that just happened. Like it's something that happened. It was a rule that they put in there. But I think that's the most horrible and weakest point to argue from.
But they tried to tie it to
Again,
somehow they tried to say that we got into the white feminist movement for the white ladies, and now our families are destroyed. And then welfare came and we started kicking them out the house, and because we was feminists.
No, that's not my claim, but I think that we do need to get away from
anything from the 70s. They'll say, no, the guy didn't make any money. He couldn't. The guys were not getting jobs. They couldn't work. They didn't make any money. Some of them was on drugs. We forget that there was a whole drug epidemic. There was a lot of different things our families were up against. And I think that we have the wrong idea of what is destroying our families, but we're fighting in on each other instead of dealing with the actual problem. So,
and like I said, and like you just said, it's an amalgamation of things. You just ran off a list of things that are tearing us apart. It's not one thing couldn't take us down. You see what I'm saying? Black feminism couldn't be the only thing to take us down. Drugs couldn't be the only thing to take us down.
Diseases.
We are being attacked on all fronts, you know?
Yeah.
So when people ask me, do you think black feminism is the reason, you know, it's like, no, and it sounds like that's what I'm saying. Understand that there's way much more to it. Okay. And I hope that people understand that it's way much more to it. I just covered this topic because I wanted to dispel some myths. I felt like I was dispelling some myths here with this information.
Right. We owned our own private businesses. Black women owned private businesses. Black women had their own, like, people had their own hair salons and doing putting perms in people's hair, coming up with their own products. And so I'm like, since when did we need feminism and all this other stuff? I think that even when they had even prostitution, even with that, there were certain levels of because you know that even with the word hunky, do you know that word comes from the white man that would come and honk his horn outside of brothels?
I did not know that.
That's why he called them hunkies.
Dang, that's crazy.
So even with the brothels and all that stuff, a lot of them were ran by black madams. Mm-hmm. So the black woman, I don't think that we had the same struggle. So
definitely, that's definitely something I was saying. They co-opted you guys to become deep, and then when they got what they needed, they kicked black women to the curb. And I keep saying that it was the same trick then, and it's the same trick now. Kind of.
Hold on, you guys. Wait, she put a lot of effort into this, you guys. And I just got to do this because my daughter just come here all set. She just did her makeup, y'all. So hold on. So turn the light on. My child Offset just did her makeup. It looks beautiful, Offset. Good job. Yes. Hold on. Oh, come on. Look, come over this way. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hold on. They can't see it. They can't see it. Huh? I gotta lighten it up. Hold on. I gotta let the kids in full glory. So if we can see that makeup in its full glory, we turn up, we light it up, right there. There you go. Look, wow. Look at that. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's something, isn't it?
Another round of applause. You did an amazing job.
That's great.
Thank you.
Right. There you go.
Thank you.
Good job, Offset.
How old is your princess?
She's 7.
7. Congratulations.
She got her. She put. Wow.
I got a 12-year-old. So
well, that's cute. I was like, okay. She looked like a porcelain doll.
Gotta love our daughters. Another round of applause.
Speaking of feminism.
Good job. You're doing good.
I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect. We gotta love the kids, and we're talking about black
raising
women,
our kids, right?
Yeah, I have a daughter who's going to grow into a black woman.
Right, raising our little girls, right?
And I think I say that in here, like this is important to me,
Right. She didn't put.
Her future is important to me.
You should have seen it. That makeup looks crazy. look, it's like, go ahead, girl. Go ahead, child.
That's
Okay.
what's up. Shout out her today. Shout out her.
We had to have a little break, like a funny joke break. Like,
Yeah, that was a good moment. Thank you. Thank you.
okay.
You always keep me smiling. You always keep me smiling.
Right. And cats.
How important they were
Right.
in getting this
Anyways,
amendment passed. Oh, I'm sorry. I started.
Go ahead. Let's listen to these white people and what their struggles are.
Okay. This wouldn't have passed without them. They were frontier women at the time for what they were doing. And y'all are following two racist assholes. Y'all are following two racist assholes. Let's keep it moving. By this time, the former suffragists in the North were celebrating the amendment and were uninterested in fighting discrimination against women who were suffering racial as opposed to gender discrimination. You hear me? It sounds like the same thing with the whole LGBTQ. You know, they adopted civil rights. You know, where are y'all when Trayvon is getting shot? You know, oh, if it's not a women's suffragist thing, they don't come out. If you're not discriminating against gays, they don't come out. But they riding the whole coattail of civil rights to the top. You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. Unlike black men who had been disenfranchised within 20 years after the ratification of the 15th Amendment, black women had lost the vote in less than a decade. It would take another half a century and a new suffrage campaign with black women in a leading role before that black community was fully enfranchised through the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Yeah, it took y'all about another 50 years. And then they gave black men and black women the right to vote at the same time. It's not like it was just black women. You see what I'm saying? We had to come together once again. They created division to get what they wanted from us, but we had to come back together and stand as a unit to get the right to vote. You see what I'm saying? Demonizing the enemy. Hold on, let me go back one. We're going to skip ahead because this is what they do. I'm going to show you in their own words the things they said about black men and women. Demonizing the enemy. This is Wikipedia right here. Demonization of the enemy, dehumanization of the enemy, is a propaganda technique which promotes an idea about the enemy being a threatening, evil aggressor, with only destructive objectives. Demonization is the oldest propaganda technique aimed to inspire hatred toward the enemy necessary to hurt them more easily, to preserve and mobilize allies and demoralize the enemy. Now, this is what feminism does. When they come banging on black men, talking about all men are the same, and when Elizabeth Stanton was saying things like black men are incipient rapists, like we can control our urges and we're oppressing black women. Like, we don't have the power to oppress anybody. We couldn't keep black women from getting jobs. We definitely wasn't keeping the black women out of the churches. They were some of the most spiritual leaders in our community. That was the white woman struggle with their man. We wasn't keeping the black women from going to college. That was the white man that wouldn't let us all up in their college. You see what I'm saying? And they were demonizing the other. That's what that's called. You know, Elizabeth Cotton Stanley, her views on race as evidenced in her own writings. Now, this is from Georgetown University. Anybody with Google and a smartphone can pull this stuff up. If you feminists don't know about this stuff, this is your own fault. But that's why we're doing episodes like this, because a lot of y'all sisters have been co-opted into this movement, and y'all y'all don't know what's really going on. Y'all don't know the foundation and the inception of these foundations. You got to remember, all this stuff, they got to do a 501c3 and still get money from the government just to start it. And I'm going to show you how the CIA started the magazine and funded the whole women's rights movement of the 60s and 70s. But here we go, from Elizabeth Cotton Stanley, her views on race as evidence in her own writings. From an early age, Elizabeth Cotton Stanley was deeply affected by the inequality between men and women. She married Henry B. Stanton, an abolitionist. She attended the World's Anti-Slavery Convention, where rather than feeling inspired by the anti-slavery movement, Stanton was horrified by the exclusion of women from the proceedings. So what that means is she was jealous. This hoe came to the anti-slavery movement by the abolitionists, where her man was trying to give black men the right to vote. That's what was going on. When she pulls up to the event, this hoe gets jealous. Like, what? I'll be damned if black men get the right to vote before white women. Y'all got the game fucked up. That was her whole attitude and energy. You see what I'm saying? And that is the inception of the women's suffrage movement today. Let's keep it moving. She was surprised that abolitionists recognized the injustice of slavery, but didn't see the injustice of a society that put women in a similar position. Now, granted, I agree, that's messed up, but that's not how we had it in Africa. That's not how we had it prior to Christianity. It wasn't like that. We went to a patriarchal society from a matriarchal society with the inception and Islam. and the Let me adoption be of fair. the Christian customs. Because you have to remember, when you accept the Bible, you accept all the misogyny that comes with it. Let's keep it moving. With the abolitionists, I apologize, with Lucretia Mott, another attendee, Stanton resolved to organize a society that would advocate for women's rights. So after she went to this damn meeting and saw them trying to give black folks the right to vote, she's like, oh, hell no, man. These motherfuckers ain't going to beat us to the punch. And she went and started her own shit. This paper examines the source of Stanton's racism, the role it played in her struggle to obtain women's suffrage, and the effect these beliefs had on the suffrage movement. So let's go ahead and get into her own words, and you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth for a lot of people who don't believe me. You know what I'm saying? I try to tell these women.
When did the women's feminist movement go from people's wives to being like a lesbian movement? I mean, I'm not sure if you noticed now, there's like a lot of lesbianism into the feminist movement right now. So were these people like bisexual, or like when did the feminism turn into the lesbianism? Are you aware, A1?
Sorry, I was talking and I was muted. I was gonna say, don't let me get to lying to you. I don't like saying things that are inaccurate. If anything, I will pull up the source. Would you like me to? Like I would.
Yeah, are you aware that now that the feminist movement is like kind of like now like slightly lesbian, or like some like a
oh yeah, heavily
LGBT thing?
Yes, and I think I touch on it briefly, like with a few lines, but it wasn't the main thing. But I think I had like a joke about it in here.
But, because then it would make sense if this lady was LGBT, it would make sense why she would be like, bump those niggas, this LGBT female rights.
I've already made enough claims on this video. I don't want to make any more. I don't know about.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, was she married to the guy that was throwing the thing, or is she a gay woman?
I don't believe she was gay. It was her husband.
Started off by gay women. That's
another misconception. You know, I'm going to the sources. I'm pulling them up. I'm reading them to you.
Okay.
Because I do feel like there is a lot of misinformation, and I hear what you just said by a lot of men, and I correct them. It wasn't.
I'm not a feminist, so I don't even know who started the feminist movement. I can't tell you nothing about the feminist movement.
And I'm not going
to the all-female march. I didn't put no pink hat on and go down to Washington, D.C. I'm not part of that. No movements or no groups.
Yeah, it sucks. And like I say, like black people, black
men
need black women.
The fraternity, the sororities were the feminist movement. Is that what you're trying to say?
I apologize. Could you say that again? I was actually talking over.
No, someone put the Divine Nine up there, and I'm saying, is he trying to say that the black feminist movement started with the college Greek groups?
And somebody said
the feminist movement was always queer. That's okay.
Yeah. More contentious media says the feminism movement was always
and this thing is saying it's because her husband was doing it and he was trying to flee the black slaves, that she didn't like that. She started the feminist movement. I've always known the feminist movement to be tied to LGBT.
See, and you may be right. I want to almost say I want to type it in because like I brought you here to share insight and correct me when I'm wrong. Tell me things that I didn't know because I've never been a woman. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not a feminist. I'm so not a feminist.
Yeah, and I just think we need
I'm a feminist. People, but maybe I'm a feminist and I don't even know it. But
my whole point of this podcast is we need to stop being divided, and the gender wars are a bad thing. And we need each other more than ever right now. Like we can't do it without each other. And all of the gender war stuff is so depressing to me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend I don't need someone because I'm not climbing up no ladder.
Man, I need somebody more than ever. I need a hug every day. I need all of that. Like I need all of it. So you don't hear me ever speaking. Like I'm very cognizant of how I speak about black women. Like I don't take one personal experience and make it how I speak on all women. Like that's another thing that bothers me when men do that, and it's vice versa as well. I think we need to break out of that cycle. and understanding our experiences. They're personal to us, but they're not the world's experiences. Um, and other people have different experiences. There are people who don't know what heartbreak is. There are people who have women who have great husbands.
Okay, here it is. I just found it. So it says queer women played a foundational role in the women's suffrage movement in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Early leaders, historical research shows that many of the movement's prominent leaders, such as Jane Addams and Anna Howard Shaw, were in same-sex relationships and lived outside of conventional heterosexual norms. Mainstream historical accounts have often sanitized or erased this queer history, but recent research and movements to queer and suffrage movement have brought these contributions to light. By living outside traditional marriage and gender roles, these activists challenged the heteronormative conventions of their time, and in doing so, helped propel the feminist movement forward.
So it didn't start it, but it propelled it.
Yeah, so exclusion during the second wave, despite their early involvement, queer women and their specific concerns were often excluded from the mainstream second wave feminist movement of the 60s and 70s. So during the suffrage movement, they were prominent in the middle of it, and then they got removed when the 60s and 70s movement happened.
That's interesting information. I appreciate you pulling that up. Because like I said, I wish I could have answered your question. I just don't like saying things I don't know. I'd rather just ask. We look it up together and get it right.
So yeah, so this lady, Lavender Menace, prominent second wave leader Betty Freeman, feared that associating the movement with lesbianism would undermine its political legitimacy. She famously labeled lesbians Lavender Menace and actively worked to purge them from the National Organization of Women.
What? Dang, yeah. So they did the same thing to them that they did to black women. Pretty much. Like, hey, appreciate the help, deuces.
Right. But I think that the LBGT is a part of white society, though. That's like their culture.
I agree. I don't know if that's misinformation that I'm going off of, but currently, right now, I agree until I thoroughly look it up.
You know what? And so AI MedSpot just made a good point. So if we have sororities and fraternities and they are the uppity people in society, there is a Greek Isle of Lesbos and the sororities. And so you know how the Greek men got down with the dressing like women and female. And then you had the Greek Isle of Lesbos. And so if they have this Greek society like thing, all right, look at her makeup. Isn't she lovely? My child came back again with the makeup. I almost jumped out of my seat. She looked like a ghost, honey. That makeup is not the right color on your face. Oh Lord. But the Greek Isle of Lesbos. So it makes interesting. Saturday, drugs and alcohol, baby. What?
Hey, shout out you. I didn't put it on the screen. I wanted to trust me, I want to put it. I didn't want to throw that on there. I appreciate you though. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out King Hurt.
Everybody said it's too deep on Saturday. We talk about too heavy a topic. We should be talking about getting Yeah, so yes, Clint Hercules says homosexuality is a Eurocentric thing, just like being a gangster is a Eurocentric thing.
I'll put that one up, Hurt.
Because gangster, that came from the Italy, right? The Italians, right? Gangster. Yep.
I think we've always been in spirit, but
Well, no, but
we
didn't have gangs such as the Italian mafia and things like that. We didn't have that type of
gangs of New York, stuff like that.
Yeah, those things were culturally Italian and Russian and things like that. So,
do you think some would argue that our tribalism, styles of tribalism, across Africa and the different regions, could sort of be considered something similar?
No.
Okay, bust it down, folks.
I mean, a tribe is like a family line,
Oh, you cooking? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's like family. That's your family, and everybody grew up in that area together, and that's like a family thing. a gang is just a thing that people kind of come together. I mean, it is family orientated. Hold on, let me think about this. Because like
I've seen people make the comparison, but I like your response. Your clapback was nice. I'm like, ooh, okay. If I ever go against somebody, I'll use that as a rebuttal.
Families involved in like the mafia, like this family and that family, and so maybe that's the Italian version of a tribe.
I kind of think similar. Now, when I think of like gangs of New York and like a bunch of homeless kids grouping up together though to make a family, I mean, but they're making a family though.
Yeah.
People without one are trying to make
trying to more lineage. So,
am I gang sympathizing right now? Did I just do that?
But anyway, so
everybody needs love. Everybody needs love.
Where it came down to this subject is because if that's the case, then is it true that this lady is the reason why the suffrage movement started because she got jealous of the slaves, or is it because the gay women wanted to be equivalent to men?
That's a good question. Ooh, that sounds like a fire debate topic. Let me write that down.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did the women's suffrage movement, was it because that the white women did not want black people to have rights before women did, or was it because the LGBT women that were at the center of it wanted equivalency to men because they felt themselves to be, because they were in female on female relationships, right? So
and you know, just like I've been saying earlier, I think a lot of the things we debate about, two things could be true at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, let me drop hit the gong on that one too. Two things can be true at the same time sometimes. And a lot of times I think that's what it is. And the arguing like, you know, one side is more right, that's the division, divide and conquer. And but I think the more we communicate and the more we do stuff like this, and show up not to war, but to do what's another word? Because I'm thinking gender wars. So what can we substitute for war? Gender what? We need to put something positive there.
Gender, I don't know.
I'm gonna try to think of that. And maybe I'll have a new series. If anybody does it before me, shout out to you and invite me out at least, you know. But yeah, I think we need to put something positive there. Instead of having these gender wars, we need to have gender togethers. I don't know. That's the best I can do right now.
Well, you know, I had this video right here where we had this in 1970, black women and black men debate their relationship on TV. This was pre-Oprah Winfrey. I had this video. After you're done showing your thing, I wanted to show a little bit of this. But and it's interesting to see how those couples, even how they talk to each other. Because I think they had like a couple of one woman that's like single, and then like a couple, and then, you know, and even how they spoke to each other, you know. In the argument, it's a different way that the tone and even how the women would argue. There was a certain that we don't even have anymore. That we don't have.
I want to see that. We may have to bring that up on a future podcast if you haven't already.
Yeah,
definitely.
I've shown it on my podcast before, but you know,
definitely you may have to bring it to Titans Debate League,
right?
And bring it to the people. The ladies over here love stuff like that. Let me go ahead and let this play a little bit. That this, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get your spot back on the throne, go back and study the times when you were a queen, when you was running shit, and see where you fell from. We're going to get into that later in this episode. And like, again, this makes me upset, man. I'm upset right now. I'm pissed off right now. You feel me? It got me to the point I can't even read straight. I'm up here salty reading this again. Like, you know, that they brainwashed our women with this whole feminist movement when it's founded in racism and trying to create division between black men and black women. Again, as I showed you on the first slide. Hold on. We going back. The African American family structure. We this purple line up here. We are leading the race in kids being born to single mothers. We leading the race in kids being born to single mothers. And I'm showing you right now how it's directly tied to feminism and how the CIA funded the whole feminist movement to create this. This condition we are in right now was created. We're not here by accident. We were led here. And then they threw y'all under the bus. Let's keep it moving. Let me get back to where I was at. I'm getting too far ahead. I'm about to show you in Elizabeth Cotton Stanton's words, one of the biggest key people in getting the 19th Amendment passed and the women's rights from the women's rights movement to get women the right to vote, how she didn't fuck with you hoes. I'm about to show you right now. In her early speeches and letters advocating for women's suffrage, Stanton would sometimes relate the position of slaves to that of women. At times, the comparison was unfavorable. I bet it was, because y'all white women had never been slaves, so how dare you? She's comparing her single mom. No, she's comparing being a stay-at-home mom to being a slave. It's not the same thing. Unless he raped you, and then that's how y'all got together.
And half the time, even though the woman was a stay-at-home mom, they had black women helping raising their kids and breastfeed them and everything. So
hey,
really,
I was cooking this day. You're right. Yeah, they was using us to raise their family.
Right. So even though she was a stay-at-home mom, she still had slaves helping doing the majority of the work. So what's she crying about?
Crying like, hey, that's why I was like, but people read this and it gets off. Nobody. I just look at it from a different context than the way like the feminists who look at it and say, yeah, it is like being a slave. So I bet you there's some feminists who will argue with me right now, like they're slaves, and they would try to convince me. And I would be like, I love you. I'm not going to get upset with you. I don't want you to spit venom. We can talk about it calmly, because the last thing I want to do is make any queen mad. Because that's,
I don't think that's the same thing as slavery. Now, what these guys are doing out in these prisons, and how they got to do all that free labor for 25 cents, and it's like out in the sun, banging on rocks and stuff like that with overseer people with rifles on horses, and that's happening today in 2024. That's slavery.
Crazy work. Shout out Pan the champion. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. And yeah, you're right. And I don't want to elaborate because that'll take us down another rabbit hole. So I'll go ahead and let this play.
Shout out to Angola Prison.
Shout out to Angola Prison.
They're still on a plantation right now. They do got to pick cotton. So come on now.
Wow, they still have people picking cotton to this day. Forced though.
Yep.
If you don't, you go to the hole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to look. What city was that in?
Louisiana. Or Angola Prison, Louisiana.
Angola. Sorry, I'm taking notes because I'm just gonna look that up.
I did an interview with a guy named D Win. Go watch his interview on my channel, and he talks about that prison. It's brutal.
What was his name again?
D Win.
D Win. Everybody, after this, go check that out on her channel, D Win. Write that down so you don't forget it on DJ Geneisis channel. Okay. Mm-hmm. These children, this comparison is weak and it's embarrassing. And she was in a leadership role, and she should have knew better than that. I just went back just to her single mom. No, she's comparing being a stay-at-home mom to being a slave. It's not the same thing. Unless he raped you, and then that's how y'all got together. Unless he stole you from your people, brought you to his house, and just made you raise these children. This comparison is weak and it's embarrassing. And she was in a leadership role, and she should have knew better than that. You feel me? At times, the comparison was unfavorable, way more than unfavorable. It's a slap in the face to black women who were in the movement. It was a slap in the face to black women who were in the movement. And anybody who just listened past that stuff or read past that stuff, you doing your people an injustice, not only yourself. And now knowing this information, I hope a lot of y'all drop this whole feminist thing, man, and realize that for us to come together, for us to get this right, we have to come together. We got to stop pointing fingers, trying to figure out who started it and who was wrong. We both wrong. We all wrong. Men done fucked up. Women done fucked up. You feel me? Let's keep it moving. When the Civil War began, Stanton suspended her campaign for the women's suffrage and gave her support to the emancipation of the slaves. Even after the 13th Amendment freed the slaves, many believed that the slaves would not truly be freed until they were politically enfranchised. What that means, oh wait, let me read ahead. Thus began the movement for an amendment that would establish their legal status. That's important, and we're going to get to this on a whole nother episode, because after slaves were freed, they didn't have a legal status. And that's when they gave these niggas the term black. Excuse my language, because black is not an identity. Black is a legal status that was given to you by Caucasian people who came and took over this land. And you have to understand that when you accept the term black, you lose human rights. But I'm not going to get too deep into that. I digress right now because I want to stick to the topic. Stanton believed that by aligning the women's rights cause with this movement, women's suffrage could be achieved sooner. So what she did was piggyback y'all movement and tried to ride it to the top to get her needs met. They got their stuff passed. And again, you know, they kicked y'all to the bus. They kicked y'all up under the bus. They kicked y'all up under the bus. And we got to stop letting these people piggyback our movements and do this. You see what I'm saying? And this is no disrespect to any of my brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community. Because what you do with your own pussy, what you do with that's your business. You know what I'm saying? But we need to stop promoting sexuality to the children. That's my only issue. What you do behind closed doors is your business. Nobody can tell if you gay or if you like men or women. Nobody knows that until you tell them. Civil rights was created because when we walk out the house, we're black. And you can see that. We can't hide that ever. That's why civil rights was needed. I'm not going to say it was needed because I still don't agree with civil rights. I agree with nationalization. But that's, like I say, I digress. That's another topic. And I don't anymore. So that's something
today.
Hey, I like to see my growth.
And I'm going to show you how she was demonizing the other.
Well,
Stanton opposed ratification of the 14th Amendment
if
it only applied to men, causing the abolitionist movement to reject her. Preserving in support of extending enfranchisement to include women, Stanton made several claims that no class of citizens should be underprivileged, that black men would be as hesitant as white men to extend the vote to women. So she was saying that if black men got the right to vote, that they was going to try to block women too. And that was a lie, because we was always for bringing our women up. We've never been a misogynistic, chauvinistic culture until we've adopted Western society's ways, until we've adopted Christianity. Because I'm going to show you a time
and
when
the other various Abrahamic religions,
when women were rulers. You feel me?
Sorry that I singled.
Let's keep it moving.
I wonder where she got that data from that the black
Stanton's racist positions may have resulted from the abolitionist betrayal and abandonment of Stanton's cause.
I think it was just propaganda, actually. Demonizing the other. Remember how I showed you the definition of that? It was her demonizing the other. Some people fell for it. Some people were like, my man got it on lock. You know, some people who were having problems, you know, it's easy to point a finger and say, this is the reason for everything I'm going through. Yeah. I'll let it play.
Abolitionists would not help her pursue women's suffrage. Stanton found it necessary to compete with them by denigrating black men and asserting that white women were more worthy of the suffrage. So she started shitting on black men heavy. And you got to see that this trend has carried over today. This trend has carried over to today. This division has carried over till today. And it wasn't created by black women. They adopted it.
Boom. There's your answer. So when you say, are they responsible? I just said it right there. No, they didn't create this. They adopted it. Some of them that could be, you know, they didn't create this. This wasn't their plan.
How did we adopt it? How did black women adopt?
Well, I say they adopt, and it's not even black women, because black women sounds like all of them, don't it? So yeah, let me correct that.
I mean, we had to pretty much do what society, you know, allowed us to do, correct? So, I mean, were we really of the world like that? Like where we were in the 20s and 30s, were we really sitting up here?
When I say adopted it, I'm specifically talking about the demonized and the black men. Like it got adopted and got heavy.
You think that black women back in the 20s were demonizing black men?
Well, I'm showing right here how she started to do it, and then the
But
trend
that's
is carried
because she
over
was.
to
Because
today.
I think that she was doing that for racist things because
Of
she
course, of course. But
because
she
she
was
was
talking to a group of. She's talking to the other black women who are part of her movement. So she's telling them that black men this, black men that, and I'm saying that that
wait.
trend
So
is carried over to today.
let me see. So she basically was in a room full of black women and telling him how black men ain't shit.
I'll go back and play the source for you. Let's stick to feminism today. And I'm going to show you how she was demonizing the other. Stanton opposed ratification of the 14th Amendment if it only applied to men, causing the abolitionist movement to reject her. Preserving in support of extending enfranchisement to include women, Stanton made several claims that no class of citizens should be underprivileged, that black men would be as hesitant as white men to extend the vote to women. So she was saying that if black men got the right to vote, that they was going to try to block women too. And so boom, she's telling black women, hey, if black men get the I'm sorry, she's not telling black women
She's
that.
telling the abolitionist movement.
Yes.
Now, was the abolitionist movement white or black?
The abolitionist movement was white.
Correct. Exactly. So she's telling a bunch of white people that I don't know why you're trying to give them.
Hold on. No, think about it. She's saying that if black men get the right to vote, they're going to block women too. She's telling that to white people, though? White men? I don't think she would say that to white men.
Yeah.
You're giving black people the right to vote. They're going to be on your side and not let us vote too. So that's what she did. Is that what this is saying?
No, she told those white men that if you give the black people the right to vote, the black men are going to stop the women from being able to vote.
Let's go back and play it so that way we can have clarity. I want to make sure. I think you're right. I think you're right. I just want to make sure. I think that you're right, and I had it wrong the first time. Of extending enfranchisement to include women, Stanton made several claims that no class of citizens should be underprivileged. Was created because when we walk out the house, we're class of citizens should be underprivileged. That black
people go into a room full of black abolitionists and tell them
preserving in support of extending. I'm all the way at the bottom. I need to get the top. Sorry, I got it. That's why civil rights was needed. I'm not gonna say it was needed because I still don't agree with civil rights. I agree with nationalization. But that's like I say, I digress. That's another topic for another episode. Let's stick to feminism today. Okay, here we go. And I'm gonna show you how she was demonizing the other. Let me slow it down. Stanton opposed ratification of the 14th Amendment. Slow it down so we can get it right. Don't need to go fast. Like Rick Ross said, I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly. Shout out to everybody being patient with me today. If it only applied to men, causing the abolitionist movement to reject her. Preserving in support of extending enfranchisement to include women, Stanton made several claims that no class of citizens should be underprivileged, that black men would be as... Okay, it says in support of what she was trying to do, she made several claims. It doesn't say who she made them to. My first thing would be to, I mean, we can say she was talking to her enemies, or maybe we can say she was talking to her supporters, but I don't think she's going to go into a room full of white men and say, if you give black folks the right to vote, they're going to be on your side. I mean, they're going to keep. Oh no, I see what you're saying. I think you are correct. It was at the abolitionists wanted them free, so of course,
yeah, they wanted to free the slaves and let them abolish slavery, and then but the black wanted also civil rights. And she says, well, if you're going to give them civil rights and let them vote and do this, that, the other, then we need to get our rights first, as women. And if you give them rights, they're not going to let their women have the right to vote and do this other stuff. So you got to give the women rights first, and then you abolish the slaves. You're right. Thank you. That's why I got you on here. That's why we need y'all. Because then the black man can't hold the black women down too, as if she really gave a fuck about the women anyway.
And you see, a lot of men is above correction. That's why I need a woman, because a woman has eyes to see what I can, and intuition to feel what I don't. How are we supposed to do it without y'all? I'm lost. I
Her
don't have
views
any
were
clue
on
of
that.
how we get this together. Do it banging on each other. It just doesn't.
She had her views, so it was because she was trying to intersect the abolition of slavery and women's suffrage. She was trying to combine the two. And what happened is that they had this 1840 World Anti-Slavery Convention where women were excluded from participation. And so that from them doing that, because women could not be at that event, that started her and that Lucretia Mott to organize the Seneca Falls Convention and began their lifelong activism for women's rights. Because they were mad because they couldn't go to that convention.
So that's why she was doing this.
Basically.
I still think that the demonization carried over though. Would that be a fair, or maybe it's a debate topic? Maybe it's not something proven. Because this is where I start to see it at, you know. And since then, it's been carried on by this same.
So what happened is that here it is. In 1840, the 1840 Anti-Slavery Convention was a key moment. It was in London, and Stanton and other women delegates were barred from participating fully and forced to sit in a separate gallery. This incident, which she describes as hypocrisy, convinced her of the need to address gender inequality. Right? So the fact that she had to sit in a separate room where she couldn't speak up at the thing.
That's corny.
She had to go into another room. So she pissed off, right? She went all the way to London and couldn't even go and say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so then she met another woman room named Lucretia Mott. And they were both that's when they both started. We bumped this. They don't want to let us in the room. We need to have female rights because they giving these niggas rights. How come we can't do shit? You know, we got to be in the room. We can't even sit in the room and talk about slavery.
That's crazy.
They opposed the 14th Amendment, which granted citizenship to Black men, and the 15th Amendment, which granted them the right to vote, because they did not extend the franchise to women. That caused a rift of the broader abolitionists and Republican movements who believed it would hinder efforts for Black male enfranchisement.
So we didn't want to be tied to them again, but they was like, it's either both of us or nobody.
Basically, she was like, bump these niggas and we need to. I'm opposed to that. They don't need to have citizenship.
She's a slimy woman. So she was running that game while at the same time grabbing
to the
Black
white
women.
She wasn't running that. Yeah, she wasn't running that to the Black women. She was running that BS to the white men.
I'm sure that they were privy to her rhetoric, though, being that they were her supporters.
Who was her supporters?
The Black women who were part of her movement that the whole article says she threw under the bus. I would assume they would know what their leader is talking about and on the front line saying on their back.
So here it is. Black women did not uniformly follow Elizabeth Cady Stanton, particularly due to her racism and prioritization of white women's suffrage. The post-Civil War period.
Sorry.
While some Black women worked in early Stanton collaborations, many ultimately formed their own organizations to pursue suffrage and racial justice, creating a lasting rift.
Let's go. That's something I didn't know. It's something that makes me happy because this whole thing is depressing for real.
So that's the thing. So basically,
we was fighting back.
Yeah, we wasn't with that bullshit. Because see, here's the thing. It's just like they got the LGBTQ fighting for their rights and all this other shit like that. It's a separate movement, the Black LGBT movement, than the white LGBT movement.
Very true. Very true. They do.
It's the same separate thing. And suffrage with the feminism. There's the Black feminist. It means a completely different thing than a white feminist. Because we have completely different things that we think is important.
Yeah, y'all have different struggles. Y'all come in different environments.
Right.
If her needs need to get fixed. So.
And a lot of white people at that time were racist. They was not honey, they don't want us to be free. They still need someone to help feed their baby, breastfeed their child. They need Aunt Jemima to come cook some grits or whatever the heck they need. They ain't trying to they not trying to get rid of their maids and all this other stuff. And some of the white slave owners, female slave owners, were some of the most brutal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something my mom was telling me because I had
The female slave owner, the wives were some of the worst, honey.
My mom was breaking it down to me one day because I had I had a disagreement with my neighbor, and she's racist. But every time that there's a problem, she's the one speaking, and her man is standing there just quiet, like like almost like he's the docile one. Like I'm like, what's going on, bro? And he's like, yeah, he's like, you think them white racist men are bad? She's like, no, boy. And then back in the day, it was the women you had to worry about because they wielded the power and they were shrewder and they're emotional and you know.
Right, off with your head. Off with your head.
Yeah. So
Many
of people strung up because behind
all that line about, oh yeah, he did this to me, and white female woman's tears, crying. He did this to me, and next thing you know, you got a whole army of white men with torches and stuff running through the crowd on horses and pickup trucks and stuff.
We see it today the same way. It's in the form of litigation and stuff like that. They'll be dragging our brothers into court.
It's called the police. They're calling the police. I don't want.
Yeah, but they still showing up, mobbing the terrorists down.
Ready, guns drawn, like a damn fool. He did this to me. He yelled at me.
Oh my God, you just made me think of this video I saw the other day too, where a model was joking. Well, a girl was on a date. And a guy said, I'll do something. It was a black guy. And she was like, no, you won't, because what are you going to do when I call the police? And he was like, something. She's like, no, I'll cry and say something and they'll believe me. Who do you think they're going to believe? And like, he just completely ruined the mood for his date. And like, he left. But
right.
I was like, oh, I'm like, it's one thing for it to be like, it's just scary for them to know that they have that power.
Right.
I wish I wouldn't even
aware of that. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Just saying it out loud feels like I further educated one who didn't know. So I might have to cut that part out. All right, let me let this play. Hesitant as white men to extend the vote to women. So she was saying that if black men got the right to vote, that they was going to try to block women too. And that was a lie.
Gaslighting.
It was always for bringing our women up. We've never been a misogynistic, chauvinistic culture until we've adopted Western society's ways, until we've adopted Christianity. Because I'm going to show you a time when women was queens, when women were rulers. You feel me? Let's keep it moving. Stanton's racist positions may have resulted from the abolitionists' betrayal and abandonment of Stanton's cause. Because the abolitionists would not help her pursue women's suffrage, Stanton found it necessary to compete with them by denigrating black men and asserting that white women were more worthy of the suffrage. So she started shitting on black men heavy. And you got to see that this trend has carried over today. This trend has carried over to today. This division has carried over till today, and it wasn't created by black women. They adopted it. They running with it. They passing the baton from daughter to daughter and generation to generation. But now I'm here with this presentation for y'all. Let's keep it moving. It distanced her further from those who might have supported her. So this distanced her from a lot of black females at the time who recognized it. There were a lot of women, woke black women back then who knew what was up. That goes to what you just said and what you just read. I didn't mean to make that rhyme. That was right on time. Yeah, there was a lot of black women who knew what was going on, you know? And like you said, they started their own movements. So
they said, be racist. I'm not dealing with that. That's crazy.
Hey, let me give myself a round of applause for touching on that. I haven't seen this in so long. I don't remember what was said. So this is exciting to me because I was really passionate about this that day.
So, but what do you think about the move from that attitude to now white women like almost being in competition with black women to be with black men.
Mm, mm-mm. It's
Well,
deep.
how did it go from
Oh
like
my gosh, it's deep. Especially where I'm at, like they be trying to act like they, black women. I feel like black women are under attack on a level that's scary. Even like the even from the LGBTQ community, they trying to be y'all. Everybody's trying to steal y'all identity and tell y'all not who y'all are, and it's bothering me. It's troublesome, to say the least. They want to be y'all. They mock your mannerisms. You're a man, and I don't have no problem with you doing it all in good fun. But they're trying to make it a real thing, and when they try to bring it to reality, like it's cool that when it was play. Go ahead, do your play thing. We all saw Wesley Snipes and the little Mexican guy back in the day in drag. It was funny, So I don't know what's the name of that movie, but
Wong Fu?
so yeah, exactly. That movie was hilarious. We all saw it. We laughed. Nobody got upset. I didn't, at least. I wasn't pissed off. What
Are
are
we
they
letting
doing?
people up? I didn't know whether we should
Like,
be dropping the link to. Are we letting anybody up to comment?
I did drop the link for one person, but go ahead, drop it for free. Yeah, if some people want to comment, they can come on up and share their 2 cents. I'm not tripping. I don't want to debate the topic. I don't want to
Yeah,
argue
no, no.
about
I just
anything.
want to see if anybody got some
Um,
context about that movement back in the past that I might not know about. Because
yeah. Anybody who's
I'm
got some
still trying
healthy
to figure out
dialogue
like,
for
where
the
did they get
show.
that whole thing that the white woman was cool. The black woman and that started this feminist movement, and the white women was cool. Because I think that they wasn't fucking with each other like
Yeah.
that.
You're right, and I said it right there. You read the sources. It was. I think it was a split. I don't think everybody. Again, I think the women who had issues with black men use it's like I say. It's easy to point the finger and say, "Well, this person's responsible for the things I'm going through."
I don't think they had issues
You
with
know,
black men. I think they were just trying to get rights. I think that the feminist movement was not, at least for the black side, was not about not having rights. It was about
well,
getting, I mean, not having rights in the black and not what about the black man. It was about getting rights to the government to make sure that they can get jobs and work, or not get jobs. We was already working, so that we can vote, I guess.
can I ask you a question there? Okay, because I see it right now in today's society. Um, the man bashing, and that's what I'm talking about, and the demonizing of black men, like i.e. the gender war podcasts and stuff like that, where women are taking personal experiences and attributing them to the character of black men. Um, like that's our character, that's who we are. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's just not enough married women shows, you know, to
Yeah,
balance it,
that's
because
right.
those women have a different story. Those women have a different opinion. Those women have a different thought process, and it's beautiful to see. So uh, I don't know. Like again, people can only a woman who's in a happy marriage isn't man bashing because she doesn't have that personal experience, and I recognize that. Um,
I don't know.
I
You
think
know,
I can
I
leave it
grew up
there.
in a family where the women like it was there were things that happened, but we would not be out in public talking about it.
Hmm. Yeah, and of course, nobody's perfect. Nobody's
You
perfect,
know, uh,
and I'm sure there are women who were victims of a bunch of BS. We're not gonna
yeah,
forget
it
about
would
them
be,
either.
your aunts would bring you to a room. When you start getting a certain age, they bring you, sit you down, and kind of tell you, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? You're becoming a woman now. Like I got the talk when I turned 18.
Yeah, I just think it's on based on who the people are, where they come from, what they grew up experiencing, and a lot of this stuff is passed down from generation to generation. The traumas, the things like that. Um, I happen to grow up in a household where I didn't see. My father was a pastor. I didn't see a man cheating on a woman. I didn't learn that type of activity. I don't do that. So,
Right.
like, when I go on a gender war podcast and they're man bashing about all that stuff, like like they're talking about, instead of talking about the man they dealt with, they're talking about all black men because of what the men they dealt with did, and then I'll have to leave. Like, that's not me. I can't.
But you
I
know
don't
what?
want to sit here
Part
and
of
be
it is
bashed.
that you have a whole society where the music is promoting that. You have, this whole push toward women being strippers, being prostitutes, so it's almost like the values that we had before are gone.
Very
And
true.
you can't blame that on feminism. You gotta blame that on like what
Very true.
whoever these people are that are trying to pump this into our community. Whoever owns these labels that won't push that. Like, why is it that we went from Public Enemy and Fight the Power to
Big fact.
niggas with attitudes, and then 24 years later we have someone singing a song and then his girlfriend gets chopped up and we don't know whether he did it or not.
That's wild.
She's 15 years old.
That's crazy. Rest in peace to her. Condolences to her family as well.
You understand what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I'm sorry. Wait, whoa. I need a sad sound.
Right, they clapping.
Whoa. Stop that. Fingers moving too fast.
Right.
Sorry.
Yay!
No.
Rest in peace. Well, you know what? Hey, in some cultures, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace is not a bad thing.
And sheesh, you said something and I had a response for it, but it shot out of my head when that happened. But you were
I
absolutely
think
right.
we had a lot of secrets in our families back in the day. We didn't really talk about our problems out in the open. We would keep secrets. Like, so even there was certain level of dignity our culture had about, like, letting the white man know our business. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that in front of the white man. Remember, I don't know if you could.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Told that don't be acting like that in front of white people.
Because I still got it in me today. You get in front of some other folks, you better straighten up. Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, like you had to like
represent our.
Yeah,
and it bothers me because, like, even something simple. When I go into Walmart and I got brothers with me, and if I got some hood people, I got a bunch of hood people around me, so they'll be using the N-word flagrantly in the area where we're the only ones.
Right.
And then it's offsetting to me. I'm like, there are children here. Now they have to make sense of this. They're in their car trying to explain it to their
Mom,
kids.
why was this, Mom?
I'm like, we're introducing all type of, like, we're not really self-aware. And then my friends would be like, shoot, I don't care. I'm gonna be myself. Like, so it's hard for me to even speak to them because they're hood brothers. They'll get to arguing with me. And I'm like, you're right, and you do have that right. But just so you gotta know when you go out and you wearing this black skin, like, you don't just represent yourself. You represent the culture every time you step out the door, whether you like it or not. So
yeah. They're not gonna say Jonathan so and so is acting up. They're gonna say that nigga was acting up.
There was a black guy
How those black
down
people
at Costco acting a fool, using the
Yeah.
N-word all over the place. Now
basically.
little Johnny wants to listen to rap, and they blaming it on that.
I guess he must be one of those YNs they talk about. But what is up with this new YN thing? See, I'm getting old, and I never knew I would get to this age where it's like, what is y'all talking? What is this new? What is this YN? What is that? It's like an old grandma.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
new
term they
cool
coined.
thing, right? To be called a YN.
Maybe by them. I think maybe they like it. I don't got too many
know.
around me because I can't. I got too much to lose.
And then this cool shiesty mask that everybody's wearing in the summertime, looking like a robber. That was a mask that people wore to. It's not a Pusaist. It's called a fucking ski mask, and it's a mask used to usually to conceal your identification, so you could, because you're doing up to no good. Like, so that's not. I don't understand how that becomes a fashion thing. That's something that people wore before when they're about to rob somebody.
For people wanting to be, well, around COVID time is when the mask thing became popular. And then, with the psychology of the community with the music going on, being nefarious and looking nefarious was a thing, and the mask
back
just
in the day, them
helped,
suckers was to rob. You put that mask on and you put it over your face.
It's me and all these black guys with masks and guns jumping around to the music behind me. You should be scared. You don't know who's coming. I think that was the thing behind it. And then a lot of people, and then the climate of things, depending on where you're at, these people may actually have people trying to kill them. So they were actually using it as a form of protection, I think. Because It's like, I can't have people seeing me. Like, I have people out to get me. So this whole COVID climate thing is working out for me right now. And then it kind of carried over.
So more than feminism, is the issue. Don't you think that like that type of behavior, because that type of behavior breeds violence, and violence and crime breeds prison, and then that's one less person that we can procreate with. So the women are suffering because now we don't have a father in the home. Now you're gonna say, oh, single mothers, right? So it's not like that all the single mothers are single mothers because that man left them because their relationship didn't work out. But a lot of these people are going to prison and going to jail for long periods of time.
Yeah. If you look at my entire body of work, you would get that grasp because I touch on stuff like that too. Because it's definitely, like I say, it's a conglomerate of things that are against us.
And
We're at war on all fronts from all sides, and if we don't stick together and band together as male and female, we are not going to make it. We are
and
not
here's
going to
another thing.
make
You
it.
know what they'll say? They'll say some crap like choose better. Well, how would I know this fool gonna go out and do some stupid shit? You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I understand, and
Well, when I was with him, he was a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, these guys don't act they don't act to a woman how they act on the street.
you know what?
And being a
Can
fool,
I
whatever they
attempt to
call it,
answer
and
that
being a
question for
fool.
you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I have a daughter, right? And let's
Mhm.
say, and I may not be right, I may not have the perfect answer, but if she asks me that, I'm thinking, okay, what would I say to her? I would say,
Mhm.
baby, what you have to do is first know yourself, know what you're comfortable with, what you're not, and then from there you set your boundaries, and you just have to stand on your boundaries. I think the things come when everybody has different red flags because what works for one person won't work for another one. So what's one person's red flag is could be another person's green flag. But when people are when people push your boundaries, we tend to give people more chances. It's something that we do out of love. I also think it's because we get attached to the lust part first, and more people are being sexual before they get to actually know who they're dealing with. And once those bonding hormones and chemicals kick in from the sexual activity, then you're like stuck. People can get crazy in
Connected.
love, and then
Yep.
you are stuck and spiritually bonded to a person who's horrible for you.
Exactly.
So my whole thing is, even in life, this is how I move and this is how I maneuver. I'm not quick to get in anyone's bed because I can be spiritually misaligned with you. Just
Yep.
because I think you're beautiful, like you could be a devil in disguise.
Very much so.
So I'm not in a rush to get in anyone's bed. I want to know who you are, what you've been through in life, your background, what your interests are, what pisses you off. Then maybe we can talk about getting intimate. Anything outside of that, what your boundaries are, what you like, you know, what I then I have to see what activity you have that upsets my boundaries because I know myself. I have supreme knowledge of self, and I don't want to be acting crazy. I don't want to be arguing. So if I don't do these things, then I'm susceptible to be in those situations. You see what I'm saying? When I don't check the boundaries at the door, like, and then things continue, and those are the people who are dealing with them because, like, again, every woman complaining is talking about a continuous pattern of activity that they allowed, which
I think
means
we
they
need to get back
didn't,
to. I think we need
and
to go
vice
back
versa,
to.
it
I
is
think we
not
need to go
just
back
women
to
because men
to
have
arranged
stories too.
marriages.
If we do it, you know what, I was thinking about something like that, and if we do it in the sense of, I don't know, I believe in astrology. I think that I've read some stuff about how they used to do it in alignment with the stars back in Africa and some
Well,
places. If
Oscar
it's
said
pseudo,
divination.
don't shoot me
Divination
down.
is good too. Divination. Yep, I
Uh,
believe in that. Yeah, do divination. Hey, is this the right connection over here? What's your Odu and what's my Odu on this? What's the Odu on this relationship?
yeah, I'm not familiar with the divination stuff. I haven't tapped into it. I've read a little bit about it.
It's pretty accurate.
I have to look into maybe do a podcast on that divination. Like, I got a notepad over here every time
Right.
I go live because so many brilliant ideas come up in just the regular conversation.
I believe in arranged marriages. I believe in dowries, all that stuff. I think we need to get back to all that stuff.
Man, and that's what I'm on. I'm not on a marriage license. I don't think black people should be going to the state and asking them for permission to do anything and having them in our affairs. I think we should go back to a dowry system, not necessarily the arranged marriages, because I think that's infringing on women's rights. But I think the dowry system and not doing this whole contract that ends up putting the, I don't know, I want to say it the right way. well, just not this contract that seems to be. I feel like it's the court systems are one sided. I was blessed. I'm not gonna say I was blessed. It was actually not. I'm not even gonna get into my personal situations, but I'll just say I was a single dad for 5 years. So it was just me and my daughter. So that's why issues like this are important to me. I'm passionate about stuff like this, and I even cared about it at the time because I'm thinking, what am I going to teach her? Like, it is crazy out here. I know how these dudes are. I'm around them. I have to hear this stuff all day, and I'm not like that. So and it bothers them too as well. Like, they get, like, in real life, dudes get upset that I don't tell them what females I'm talking to or what I'm doing, or pulling out my phone to show them pictures of me doing some weird stuff. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to see that, and that's, I don't know, it bothers them because I'm not on that activity. I move different.
Yeah, arranged marriages last longer than regular marriages that are based in love. I don't think that people should get married for love.
That's a dope statistic. I still feel like it infringes on women's rights. Well, it depends on what sense of arranged. I'm thinking of arranged as in you don't have a choice, but arranged could just mean that you went with the choice.
You went with the choice.
Yeah.
No, it's like the family kind of decides, and based on, like, it's a community thing. It's not just that you just get to pick whoever Joe Blow off the street and marry this person because you love him. Because love fades over time.
That's deep.
So when love is gone, then what do you have? If you don't have a sense of commitment, or are you going to think that these words that you said really mean something? These vows that you took.
You're right, and if that's what it was built
people
on.
sign contracts all the time and break them. I mean, what is a contract? You know what I'm saying? They're meant to be broken. They have loopholes in them. So I don't know.
I agree. You just made me agree with you though on that topic,
Yeah.
because if it's built on love, when it's gone, what is it standing on? So if it's built on family and community, if love fades, you still have a foundation.
Says so. Basically, based on the data, and anecdotal evidence suggests that arranged marriages have a lower divorce rate and often last longer than love-based marriages, which may be due to factors like family support, a strong foundation of compatibility over physical attraction, and community bonds. However, the success of any marriage depends on factors such as communication, commitment, and compatibility, regardless of how it began. So arranged marriages often involve families of the couple from the beginning. So it ain't no just dating somebody. No, the families get together first, and then the couple comes together. It's not, so there's already a understanding about, okay, well, you're from this family. So and then you have a social support to help with challenges. Everybody's working together to make sure that, so it's a family affair. And they have more realistic expectations. Love develops over time rather than with the intense, unstable expectation of a love-based marriage. So love develops slowly versus it just being based on the lust that you feel right at the moment,
Mm-hmm. Actually, and that's how you actually build and learn to grow someone. I wonder if they're consummating the marriage immediately though, or if they're actually taking time to get to know each other for they.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it depends on the couple. But a lot of times the woman is taught, what to do on the marriage night. There's like a whole thing that, a ceremony. There's a consummation, but it's not really done like you're a whore or whatever, like some kind of whorish thing. There's
No,
usually some, like,
I didn't think anything of the such. Like,
or like some
that's your wife for life.
Yeah, shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like usually like a ceremony involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me go back to.
And then that goes into a certain level of spirituality too. I think that when you have that kind of a role, it brings more spirituality into the whole thing. So
That's facts. I agree with you there too. You're dropping facts today. Hold on 1 second. I want to pull up the graphic now so I don't have to go back and do it later. And let's go back to the video.
And you know what also, so in an arranged marriage, what's happening is that the parents are setting up their kids to who their child marries, right?
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that I found is that when people get hooked up by friends versus them just finding a person on their own, those tend to last longer too. So it's almost like when you don't look for your own partner and someone based on what they kind of can see, like that are friends that have been around, those tend to last longer too.
Facts. Yeah. Like I say, I take my time. I'm usually always in long relationships, but I don't rush. I'm not trying to rush to sleep with anybody. I learned that early. Don't attach yourself. You got to be very careful. And when somebody shares their stuff with you like that, some people feel like they can do whatever to you. You know, men and women. Because I know the women know what I'm talking about. So I know we don't got to ask y'all, but both sides. You know, let's go. And there was a lot who got swept up, who didn't see her for what she was. You know what I'm saying? They heard the ideas and saw the women's marches and saw something they could be a part of. And they only let you move up so much in the. I kind of want to skip to, okay, it's right here. Man, civil rights. This is dope. Civil rights movement. Okay. Ranks though. I just showed you up there how they had y'all marching in the back. They still demanded that all the black women sit at the back of the bus. What would Rosa Parks think? What would Rosa Parks think? What would Rosa Parks think? Why did I go Umar right there?
Right. What the heck?
Yeah, I was pissed off when I went to these sources and saw this information, man. I had to hurry up and do this episode, man. I'm so mad I can't even read straight. I apologize, y'all. Now, this right here is from the National Susan B. Anthony Museum. This is her museum putting this information out. So this is nothing to debate about. You feel me? Almost daily, visitors to the museum ask if Susan B. Anthony was racist. They want to know if they should identify with her or not. Hold on one second. Let me see where we at. Let me go ahead and make this big so y'all can go ahead and see this. Here we go. This is an op-ed by Linda Lapata, Director of Interpretation and Visitor Services, the National Susan B. Anthony Museum and House. Okay, let me take it down a notch because I'm upset. I can't read straight. Let me go ahead and read this straight. Almost daily, visitors to the Anthony Museum ask if Susan B. Anthony was racist. They want to know if they should identify with her or not. The not so simple answer is yes, she was racist, and no, she wasn't racist. And yes, you should identify with her. This is what they tell you when you go there. This is what they tell you when you show up to the Susan B. Anthony Museum. They're telling black women, yeah, she was racist. You know, some days not so much. But yeah, it's cool to identify with her. How? This is disrespectful. Wow. And any women falling for this, man, I hope y'all smarter than this black women. I know y'all smarter than this, man. I know y'all smarter than this. Let's keep it moving, man.
I don't think that black women were trying to be cool with Susan B. Anthony.
Let's keep it moving. Facts. If I was misled, you know.
I never heard. I don't really hear a lot of black people like, yeah, hell, Susan B. Anthony, you know, pushing that.
And I guess I can kind of see what you're saying. Just because the foundation of the movement was started by a racist doesn't mean, or somebody who did something bad. I'll say that. Doesn't mean that you can't follow the movement, because there are people who follow Kwanzaa and may not necessarily agree with what Dr. K something, I can't remember his name, whatever he did, you know.
I would look up who started the black feminist movement, and that sounds better, because I think we need to separate ourselves from this white people.
Can you type that in? Or you know what? I got the screen share. Well, I'm going to let this play, and I'm going to type that in, and then we're going to pull that. When you find this segment, to stop it on, we'll pull that back up.
Sir Joyner Truth.
Oh, you good.
Anna Julia Cooper and Ida B. Wells.
What year?
Huh?
What year was that?
In the 19th century in Sojourner Truth. That was a long time ago. Was Sojourner Truth, right? In the 19th century. I don't know how.
Yeah, now I'm going to need context into what they're calling the black feminist movement, because I don't know what that is by definition, and the way they do with these terms and the nomenclature, I have to be sure, because even as black women, you guys should be sure before you go around and identify with stuff.
So when the National Black Feminist Organization of the 1970s was started. Those are the people they looked to. They did not look to Susan B. Anthony. They cited Sojourner Truth as a here. Let me show you.
The Black feminist movement, and that was
Yeah,
around
they
at this
were
time.
not looking to Susan B. Anthony. They were looking to Sojourner Truth, Ida B. Wells, and people like that.
Hey.
So the thought that
So
our movement was in any way that we were looking up to Susan B. Anthony. No,
well, in the article that I showed where Susan B. Anthony had all those black women mobilized for her movement, would it be safe to assume that those women?
no, they work for her. Those are just workers. See, just basically like all those everything had niggas working for them.
3828.
Those are her workers, bro. And then they stopped working for her and started their own stuff. They was like, "Bump this. This is racist. This is racist, and I'm doing my own thing."
Because that would dismiss the whole Susan B. Anthony threw black women under the bus article. That there was never a bus to throw us under because we never supported her.
No, we were focused like the National Black Feminist Organization. What it's saying here is that these are the people that they cited as like the people that they looked up to.
The black feminists, specifically those women, though, right?
Right.
Okay, so and then but
Because
Susan B. Anthony had a gang of black women as well, though.
Because what happened is that there was a combined racism and sexism. So our talking points was a little bit different because we had to combine racism into it.
So could you type in did Susan B. Anthony have black support? Or maybe you could add women in there if you want. I'm not sure how you want to prompt it, but you see what I'm getting at. You can reword it if you feel the need to get the best response. Because that whole article emphasizes that she rallied a support from a number of them, but we already know that everybody didn't go. Black women were like, "You sound crazy."
Yes, Susan B. Anthony had black female supporters, though the relationship was complex. Figures like Mary Church Terrell and Adela Hunt Logan were suffragists who, while fighting for their own right to vote, also recognized Anthony's anti-racist stance and worked for women's rights. Okay, this sounds like a hallucination, but let me see where we got this from. Where did this come from? Okay, Atlanta History Center. Okay, sometimes it's okay because it says that she had an anti-racist. But on that page it's saying she was racist. So I don't know. Was she racist? Was she not racist? They're saying there was also tension and disagreement as suffragists like Ida B. Wells criticized Anthony and other white suffragists for giving into racial prejudice, particularly regarding the exclusion of black women from the movement. So black women were excluded from the movement. What? So yeah.
There was a point that's when she kicked them under the bus. That was that whole article. She had garnered black support because they were like, you know what? She racist, but we gonna let her cook so that way we can get the right to vote. And then we going back home to our man. And that's what I was explaining. Like, of course they wasn't like with her. I guess I see what you're saying. When I say with her, I guess it wasn't wholeheartedly. And I was explaining how, the whole plan was just to get the right to vote for our community. It wasn't to get the right to vote and F the black man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I showed that her rhetoric also at that time, some of that carried over. It got to some people, I believe. And they were around, but I don't believe that they were there just because Susan B. Anthony. No, they was like, shoot, if black women get the right to vote, that can help black folks. Who's the first person it's gonna help is the black family and the black home.
So of course we was for that. So the three people that they mentioned, Adela Hunt Logan, an alumni of Atlanta University and a founding member of the Tuskegee Women's Club, was a supporter of Anthony and believed black women needed to vote more than white women. So she was a supporter, but we need this more than you do.
Yeah, exactly what I was saying.
So they didn't. So it's like they was not agreeing with her. And then Mary Church Terrell was a writer and educator, a founding member of the NACW and supporter of the suffrage movement. Also worked to end racial discrimination through community activism. So,
I guess.
so the suffrage of the black women included racism. But the thing is that Anthony was also kind of racist.
Yeah, so that's why they say you're right. I should give you a gong on that one because it was a complex issue because they're like, hey, we need the right to vote, but it just happens to be her. So yeah, we about to go over here and work this. And then they ended it like, and that's when they ended up getting thrown under the bus. They was like, we know she's a snake. They know we can't trust her. But come on, like, who else do we have to work with, and what better options do we have right now? So yeah, I'm sure that was the sentiment of black women at the time.
So it says that despite Anthony's individual stance, so I guess she thought a certain way, the larger white suffrage movement and sometimes Anthony herself made compromises that excluded black women, leading to conflict.
But I do want to make a separation between support and agreeing with somebody. Because just because they didn't agree with her, they showed up to support and they showed up to push because certain things, they didn't agree with everything. And that's the thing. To say like they didn't agree with her, we have to say, no, they didn't agree with everything she was saying. They agreed with her when she spoke on women needing to be able to vote. They were like, yeah. And then when they come to the black stuff, they were like, she had to go mess it up.
It's crazy. It sounds like the black women was confused because it's saying many black suffragists, including Terrell and Wells Barnett, saw Anthony as a supporter of anti-racism, recognizing her efforts to advance the rights of women. So I'm like, what? Like, exactly. What the fuck?
And now it makes me what you just read kind of makes that headline make more sense. Where it was like, yeah, she's racist, but no, she's not. It's like, because at first I'm like, this is disrespectful. Like I hope nobody's falling for this. But
you think they just went ahead and went along with it because they didn't like her, but they said, well, we trying to get our rights too, so we'll just go along with it.
So it sounds safe to say she was more like a Joe Biden, She has some racist tendencies, but she could hang around us, and she was doing some good for some of us. Like, sorry, that was a shot. I'm taking shots. Right? I know using his name is a shot, but safe to say something like that. Like, I don't know. It's hard because I wasn't actually around at that time, so I don't actually know how we dealt with people in power, people of power who were white. Like, I really can't tell the power dynamics and how it felt. And what decisions people felt like they had to make because of the climate. Like, that's deep. I wish I can go back in time. And I don't necessarily say that.
So here's the thing. So there was a suffrage movements, but here's the thing. Whenever they would have their parades, the black women would be forced to be in segregated sections. They weren't allowed to march beside the white women.
Now, I'm not arguing this, but I just thought of a cold argument for the other side. Sometimes my brain just does this devil's advocate and tries to, because I'm empathetic, so I try to put myself in the other person's shoes. Like when I think about the Christian arguments I have, how they make excuses for certain things, could one of the excuses be that, well, that was the climate then, so to make excuses for what they were doing because that was the law of the time. Segregation was in existence, so they segregated because that's what the law said they had to do. Because when I don't know, I get that defense a lot from them when I see instances of injustice and immorality in certain spiritual texts.
Right.
And they'll say, well, what is it called? What's the word? I can't think of it now, but they'll reference that. Like, times were different back then, and that's why that happened. And it's not to be over here trying to cover for no racist. Like I say, sometimes my brain just goes to both sides of an argument because I watch so many debates. So don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. It just popped in my head like, oh, that would be a good argument. Better have a counter one for that one if somebody comes out with that.
You know what? I missed some of what you said because my daughter,
oh, it's okay.
In here while in the middle of
I was just ranting, giving good.
She made some egg rolls and I bit one and damn near burnt my damn tongue off. So I'm surprised I can even talk right now. Man, that is crazy.
That's funny. This is long. I didn't realize how much more I had to go. We only 38 minutes in.
Right. And you still got an hour and a half. We have to do part 2.
Yeah, we're going to have to part 2 this and part 3 this. I like where this is going, though. I'm going to write down the timestamp right now.
Yeah, because I think that there is a it's not a debate really. It's about like really trying to understand where where the, because people are saying that the black women, that the feminist movement
Hmm.
that the white women created, that the black women, that was the beginning that started to destroy our family, right? But if you look into it, you'll see that the black feminist movement was not even they was not agreeing with the white, and the black feminist movement was not on the same. They was not cool with each other.
And then you just made me think of another instance, and maybe they felt like how how black people who voted for Donald Trump feel. Like, well, maybe this is just go with it and see if it works, you know? And then in the end, they got thrown under the bus, and I bet you it was some people standing there like the Democrats do, like told you, you know,
So
threw you
how did
under
they
the bus.
how did they throw?
Had to wait another 50 years. You was over there marching with her, and she just left y'all. They got
Right,
their right, and y'all, and you ain't get your rights. Come back home, baby. We needed y'all. Why was y'all banging on us like that?
but they was not banging on the black man though.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm thinking of being a black man in the house when my girl go to her rally and she's saying that stuff, right?
Saying what stuff?
Saying stuff like, okay, I guess you're right. She was addressing
We want to
abolitionists.
vote.
No, to be all accurate, you corrected me earlier when she said she was addressing abolitionists and not black women when she said certain things. So
Yeah, she was not talking. She was talking about abolishing slavery. That should happen. That before we abolish slavery, they need to think about women's rights, the white women's rights, before they think about black people.
ooh, okay, now I just put myself in the shoes of a black man at the time, right? Let's say that they're privy to Susan B. Anthony's ideas, her racism, and the demonizing of black men, right? And let's say I'm there with my girl and she says, comes in like, hey, I'm about to go to the Susan B. Anthony thing. I'll be like, what? No, hey, you not? Like, I don't know. That's, it seems like what? I don't know. And then she probably
Here's the
explained, like,
thing.
look, she gonna get us the right to vote, and then we could cast the vote, and then we'll be able to have some, you know. And I'm sure we were for that when they explained it that way, though, too. Like, you know what? Go ahead, bust that move. Be covert, baby. Go ahead, make it happen. We
But
need
here's the
y'all.
thing.
We need y'all.
Is
Like,
that, here's the thing is that Susan B. Anthony's married too, though. So what is she telling her husband?
yeah, yeah. And he was one of the abolitionists. They said,
Right. So she's going against her own husband.
yep.
So what is
That's
really going on?
wild. That's wild. The dysfunction there spread.
Okay.
You know, like I say, the dysfunction has. I see her as the impetus of dysfunction.
But then,
You say even in her own home, and then it spilled over to what we got going on.
started off with black people helping her, working for her, and helping her to get everything going, and then she separated. No, that was the
Yeah,
other.
yeah. But
That wasn't Susan B. Anthony. That was the other lady, the earlier one.
I can't remember.
That's who she started off with, the black people, but then they end up having to leave the whole thing and start their own thing because there's so much racism going on.
Yeah. And when it first started, it wasn't racist. It wasn't racist until they were going to give black men the right to vote first. Then the racist rhetoric starts to come. And she's like, hell no. Not without white women first.
But I don't think that the initial feminism movement was about, especially for black people, was necessarily about bashing on men. It was because getting rights, trying to get the rights that they needed to be able to move around, do stuff like work. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but for white women, of course, because as we explained, you know, black women was cooking, cleaning somewhere and taking care of white families.
But no, but there's probably certain jobs that women were not allowed to do.
Oh yeah, so you know what? Big facts on the fact that women still were at a stage where they had a lot of advancements to make. And rights for
They probably
themselves.
was only allowed to work as a secretary, like 3 jobs:
Yeah, big
secretary,
facts, big
nurse,
facts,
and
big facts.
you know,
Thank you for adding that context on top of that.
prostitute, receptionist, or a damn nurse. Now you got three choices.
That's messed up. So you're right. They definitely they could go work, but they wasn't doctors. They weren't
So I think
CEOs. They
that's where,
weren't
yeah, yep.
unless we were and section off spots in our own communities. I'm sure we did have women who ran stores and stuff like that, corner stores in their neighborhood and things like that. But
I never seen no
for the most part, yeah, on the
I thought
corporate
that was
level.
men.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I was talking over you.
I think that those are mostly men. Store clerks and stuff. That's mostly gonna be men.
Man, okay. I'm just, you know what? I'd say that because I'm thinking of old movies I've seen where you go into the convenience, they have the lady behind the counter. And I think I may have seen that a couple times in older movies. And she's, I don't know, taking care of the community and got all the stuff. What movie am I thinking of?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. We're going to keep moving.
It was always men running that, doing that.
We do have the
so-and-so's grocery store, Mr. Such and Such, you know.
And you dropped a lot of insight on me today. You did help me out on this one. And I want to do the series, and maybe next time you can bring up a couple ladies to sit and watch and talk about it with us. Add some more insight. I can learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we got to get through because once we get through just this presentation, then I can bring up some videos of some discussions that was had that people had back in the 70s that were pretty interesting, and to see how people even thought and spoke to each other back then. Because I think that's because I think this is a misconception. Because if you actually listen to them, they're talking about the same shit. They haven't stopped talking about the same shit for decades. Mm-hmm. It's the same conversation. It's no different.
Well, let's set it up. We have to come up with something catchy. I'm against the men versus women thing. Again, I think we need each other. I think we need to stop pointing fingers.
I think we need to clear up the lies, because I think that everybody is lying to them. That one person say something and everybody repeat the same thing that person say. Don't do no research and find out if that's true or not. You have the smart guy. He's been talking about the damn the damn Willie Lynch letter and stuff for the long. He got the same talking points. Every place he goes, he says the same thing. And it's like, dude, have you really done the research to really find out if these things are true or not? Because he goes into the welfare. See, the black woman kicked the man out the house, and this, that, the other, because of welfare. And honey, I'm like, did you watch that movie, or did you actually like do the research and do the actual breakdown and do the numbers? Because it wasn't the black woman kicking the man out of the house because of welfare. It was a deindustrialization that was happening. Black men were unable to find jobs, and then it forced the black women and their children to have to rely on the government, because now you got 3-4 kids and you're married to this man. They came back from the war and they don't have no job. And then they're on drugs. They're on heroin and stuff like that.
Hey, I got a new name for you. We about to start calling. From now on my channel, you are going to be known as the Context Queen. Period. Point blank. That is your new title. Everybody, I like to introduce the Context Queen. Here to bring insight and her intuition, the ways that she does so well. I appreciate you doing this with me today. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just think that people just want to summarize it so easily. Oh, welfare, and that was the reason. That was it. It's like, no, it's a little more to it than that.
Cooker, I know he was like, how did he clap back today? He probably didn't have one.
No, trust me. He ended up getting into an argument and fight with this other girl on the panel, and we couldn't even get too deep into the conversation because it became him threatening her, and it was crazy.
Oh wow, that's scary. This online world gets kind of scary sometimes, man. Anybody dealing with stuff like that, fall back, take a couple of days off, man. Put your phone down.
Yeah, these new guys that will be like, honey, I will. They tout being abused. Back in the day when you got abused, the guy might have been an abuser, but he wouldn't admit it publicly. But these new dudes are like, I will whoop your behind, and I'll let everybody know about it.
Yeah, I said that, I think, on a podcast maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, these guys are crazy. They'll do something. Oh, yeah. I did a show there's a man in Ohio who unalived his girlfriend on her due date. And they just caught him maybe 3 weeks ago, and I covered it.
Wow.
And I said, ladies, be careful for these alpha male super sensitive simps.
Wow.
They'll tell you what they'll do to a woman, and they mean it. Like
they mean it. They mean it.
So that if some man tells you they're going to do something to you, don't challenge him and think he's lying. Because some of these guys don't have control of themselves, let alone knowledge of self.
And what was he?
That's
What
a
was
horrible
he
combination.
married or something like that? Was it that what the one was married and
No, he wasn't married. But long story short, it seemed like he just couldn't afford the child support, so he decided to hire some friends. It was a crazy story. Crazy
wow,
story.
wasn't thinking that through all the way, was he?
I wasn't thinking that through all the way.
Like, what are we doing here?
It was
Really?
it sucks because he was out for 2 years until they just arrested him. It actually happened 2 years ago, and he just got arrested for it.
Wow. And you know what's so crazy about that is people don't understand that we're not in the 1980s where you could do a crime and people can't find out where you are. There are all kind of cameras that can trace. I mean, you think you can go out and do some crime? There's cameras everywhere. There are all these door cameras and stuff like that. All they have to do is download all the cameras on your street, and they will be able to find out that you coming out your house, what time it was, and they could, and then from that point on, every street camera, every store camera on the way to wherever the crime was at, you're
Yeah.
through. You're cooked.
I know the city I live in almost has CCTVs. What it seems like they have 33 cameras spread out over the city, running on 48-hour loops. When I found out about them, I looked them up, so I know exactly how they work. I know how many there are. I don't have the location of them all, but I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty dope. And then I was interested because I'm like, I'm watching the authoritarianism slowly creep its way into society right now.
I did a show with Calvin Johnson where he talked about the fact that when it comes to crime and stuff like that, people think they're going to get away with it. You're not going to get away with it. We're not in the 80s no more where you think you can get away with these crimes.
Yeah, you only get away if they kind of feel like if they want you to. If they don't care, like because there's cameras everywhere, everywhere.
There's
everywhere.
cameras everywhere, and they also have some kind of a thing where they could track your phone. They can actually there's some kind of a app or whatever where they don't even have to have your phone, but they can get all of your phone data and information from it.
I know I was watching. I watch a lot of court TV. I've been seeing a lot of new cases. The evidence they've been bringing is, I believe, it's the Google Health app, and it tells how many steps a person's taking. So
Yeah.
it says, okay, you were in your bedroom at 3:47. You walked into your living room and took 12 steps, and then walked back this way, did this, and then the shots rang off. Like they're using it to catch people up, and they can tell where they are. And I'm seeing it in almost every case that's coming up, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
this is new.
that's already on your. That's been on your Google. If you have an Android phone, oh my
Mhm.
god.
So
See, it's
they're
called. I
definitely
forget what
using
it's called, but it tells you where where you are. It's GPS.
it. And I don't
Yeah,
think you have to
everything.
even be using the app for it to
Nope.
be clocking that data. So
And you could try to turn it off. I don't think you can turn it off anymore. They used to be able to turn it off. You can. I don't know if you could turn it off still, but yeah.
yeah, I tried to delete it from my phone. I think it's gone, but I don't know.
No, but you guess what? They have this app that that the law enforcement has. I forget what it's called. Uh, Attorney Calvin Johnson. He said the name of it, but whatever this software is that they put it on your phone or they put it in, and it can basically tell everything, phone calls, where you were, everything. And so the time of trying to do crime and thinking you're fixing to get away from it, good luck. I don't think so.
hmm It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. I'm gonna
Combine
go.
it, cameras and the phone, everything, you're through. You're cooked. So
Yeah, there's no getting away, honestly. And I'm thinking about cities
have
like,
a smart car and all this. Honey, I heard that the cars already have all that bullshit in it, and especially anything a car from a certain time frame. They already have software like into. I heard there was like some thing that they could cut your car off.
yeah, yeah.
The CIA has some kind of thing where they can actually literally turn your car off.
Even if you just have a normal automobile, not a smart car, I believe it. I believe the
It said,
technology they
that
have.
some people that get into car accidents. I was watching this show called was it called The Diaries of a was it Diary of a CEO? It was one of them kind of
Oh, I love that show.
this guy was a CIA and he was like basically saying that they have this stuff. The CIA have technology You think a person got into a car accident. They can remote control, take control of your car and slam it into a tree if they want to. You'll be driving and all of a sudden your car will speed up and you can't stop it and slam into something type of thing. Remote control your car.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. So, and you think they can't do that with a Tesla or whatever? Come on now. What the fuck? Please.
Yo, definitely, definitely. That's another reason I don't want one because I'm worried about it getting hacked. All of this new
I
stuff
think any
is
car,
hackable.
yep, any car that have electronics, it has a computer in it, right? So a computer at any point can be what? And especially if they have the computer, it has Bluetooth connected to it, and it has Wi-Fi. These new cars all have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, right?
Hackable. Everything is hackable.
Right. So people
remote access.
hello. So and what does it have? What is the thing called? Remember back in the day, people were always trying to get this on their car. It was a whole thing called
the OnStar.
OnStar.
Yeah.
Right. So right before and they were able to do things to your car from the OnStar. So what do you think the CIA? Come on now. They can unlock your door from OnStar and all that stuff. So what do we think they can't control the car? And hell, how do they have it so that they can remote control cut your car off at the dealership if you don't pay your bill?
Yeah, the technology is just crazy right now, and that's why, like you were saying, it's hard to get away with anything. I mean, they can really shut all this down. The freedoms that we have, we should enjoy them because they're slowly about to start going away.
Honey, there is a goddamn meteor or some shit about to hit Mars or some shit like that.
I heard about that. I heard something about it. It's like, man, I'm still trying to figure out down here. So, wow, that's crazy.
Listen. I don't even know if down here going to exist in a few minutes. Shit.
Oh my gosh.
The damn thing is about to hit Mars or land on Mars or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it's going to do, but what the fuck?
Let me go to a word from our sponsors briefly, real quick.
All right.
In every debate, there's power, passion, and purpose. Titans Debate League isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a place where big ideas collide and voices that matter are heard. But to keep this arena alive, we need you in our corner. Your support through Cash App isn't just a donation, it's an investment in truth, in dialogue, and in community. Every dollar helps us bring sharper debates, stronger guests, and bigger opportunities for growth. And here's the best part. When you give, you're not just supporting us. You're standing tall as part of the Titan family. We see you, we value you, and we appreciate you. So if you've ever felt inspired, challenged, or entertained by what we do, show some love and send your support to $Titans Debate League at Cash App today. Again, that's $Titans Debate League at Cash App today. Together, let's keep this debate alive, keep the fire burning, and keep the Titans rising. Have a blessed day.
Recommend surgical precise pen, hand heated, the room will spin. If men get treated, them goons gon' spin. Level heads with feet, paradigm to box you in. Got a pair of dimes in the box you in. Don't matter, paradigm, pair of nines, and your clock won't spin.
Hear the sounds of the trumpets, start the rounds in the gauntlet. Get down and lay down when we're stomping. It's the clash of the titans. Hear the sounds of the trumpets, start the rounds in the gauntlet. Get down and lay down when we're stomping. It's the clash of the titans. Hear the sounds of the trumpets, start the rounds in the gauntlet.
Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in today.
It's the clash of the titans.
And shout out Laurel Burns on that track. You can look him up. Spin some of his music. He is monetized. Go ahead and support him as well. You know what? I'm going to redo this ad and make sure I got his info on here. Yeah, I got a lot of people helping me out. You know, I appreciate my team and everybody working with me. Team Titans. Any closing words, DJ Geneisis?
I just wanted to say thank you for having me. If you guys can check out my channel at DJ Geneisis Detroit on YouTube, And thank you for having me.
Definitely. And Queen Context will be back. You can be sure about that. And thank you for showing up today. I want to see you change your tag name to that next time, so that way,
The queen of context.
like, that's
Okay.
what you are here for. That's what I think. Since I've seen you, that's what you do. You do it well. Appreciate you today. Thanks for showing up, and everybody tuning in. See you soon. We have some open panels tonight. Be checking that out. My One of the Team Titan members, Emmanuel, will be hosting an open panel for us. His show is called Add Your Two Cents. He has some good topics, so make sure you check it out. And you guys have a beautiful night. See you soon.
Peace.